cell. Watch the bodies hit the floor. You know she's always leaving you wanting more. You can't hide from her too soon. Here comes Detective Legacy Moon. Legacy Moon.
That mute button. Hello, 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 hello. How is everyone doing? I am Legacy Moon, and this right here is True Crime and Mysteries. Well, if you missed last night, I am going to tell you that you have to check it out. We did a dive into Susan Lorincz, but before we did that, we went into AJ Owens and, a little bit about her life in an interview from her mom and her son, because she is what's important here. She's the victim. Although Susan has been found guilty of manslaughter, her release date is something like 2048. This lady is 60 years old, so basically she ain't never getting out. So that's what we did last night. That was part one. Part two, in part one, we finished off with her interrogation, but she was interrogated 2 days in a row. So we watched the first one, caught all of her lies. You know how we do. We dissected everything. And now we're going to see the second day of interrogation and the self entitlement of it all. But before we get into that, let me see who is here. We've got Leo Lady here, Michi 3, Justin's mom. We've got Snoopalicious. JMM here in the place to be is too complicated. Miss Principal, Aunt Natty, life ain't over. Say J, Tanya B here. Hey, let's talk about it, boo. And P. Shout out to those of you who are in the bushes. Shout out if you are driving home and listening while you drive. I think that's what It's Too Complicated is doing. Or if you're just getting home, if you're cooking, or if you're just chilling. Shout out to all of you too. So, if you are driving, please, first of all, drive safe. And hey, dumb folks. Hey, the funeral duchess, Miss Nisi. And what we are basically going to do is get into these lies. Now, this interrogation is an hour and 33 minutes. So I'm going to try not to interrupt so much because it's going to be hard, because I know with the way she lied in that first one, I know it's going to be some lies told on this second one. Hey, Juju D. So don't forget to like this video, hype this video, share this video with a friend, with a foe, with anybody you know. Make sure you share it. I am trying to, as I've said and will keep saying, I'm trying to get past 3,000 for the year 2026. And I'm also trying to increase my memberships. So that's what we are doing over here at the Legacy Moon House. Hey, did I say hey, salt and pepper tresses? But anyway, I want to, we got to get through this because Native will be on at 8. So I want to, make sure I get this done and get out the way. Without further ado, we will get into some more lies of Susan. I'm just a helpless old lady, Lawrence. Let me see here. Go on over here. All right, y'all. Let me share my screen. Okay. And here we go. Hey, Bell Tower is my home. Queen Nikki Love. Miss Principal, I think I left you out when I was speaking. I think. And I am getting these interrogations, both of them, from a show. I mean, from a YouTube channel called This Is Monster. So that's where this content is coming from. Let me see here. I have, what do I have? Oh my goodness. We have one Legacy Moon True Crime and Mysteries gifted membership. And it was, oh God, let me get it together with these comments on screen. Okay. And it was gifted by the one and only Miss Nisi. And let me see here who got gifted. The Funeral Duchess has been gifted one Legacy Moon True Crime and Mysteries membership. Drop your new emojis in the chat and y'all please welcome the Funeral Duchess as a new Legacy Moon True Crime and Mysteries member. Where? Oh, where? Here we go. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to you. And thank you so much, Miss Nisi, for supporting the platform. Michi 3, I hope you feel better. Just chill and relax and just listen to all these lies. And if you fall asleep, that's okay too. But I hope you feel better. I wish I could say I ain't had a cold or a upper respiratory infection in years, but ugh, it just ain't meant. It's not meant for me to say that, I guess. And make sure you're drinking some tea. Tea. Get you some elderberry tea or some eucalyptus tea. Very good for that. So let's get into this mess right here.
Susan, I'm Detective Pender. Can I get you a water? We're getting our paperwork, okay? Would you like to have a water?
I have a water.
You already got one? Give me 1 second
Okay.
here.
I wish here I go stopping already. I wish I had paid attention to the detectives from yesterday because that doesn't sound like the same detective. Hey, Granny the Great. So Susan's alone, sitting there thinking, what lies will I tell today?
Susan?
Okie dokie.
Sorry, I'm freezing.
Susan, I appreciate you coming back in and talking, meeting with us. You already have a water? Is there
Yes.
anything else we can get for you
No,
right
that's
now?
fine.
You're doing okay? All right, very good. Again, if you
Yes.
remember, Detective Stiff.
So,
This is Detective
I'm
Pender.
Detective Pender. I haven't got a chance to meet you yet, but I'm looking forward to being able to speak with you. I work with Detective Stiff. We work together. I was learning different things. So, anyways, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and let him cover what he needs to, and then I'll get a chance to meet you then, okay?
Okay.
So, Susan, obviously when we spoke the other night, it was kind of a lot of things going on still. A lot of the pieces of what happened were still trying to be put together. Since then, we've obviously talked to a lot more witnesses who were there. We've gained access to some video from around the area of where your complex
I'm sorry. Michi 3, you can also get you some lemon and ginger tea, especially if your throat is hurting.
is located. So during those interviews, during that process of obtaining new stuff, obviously it brings new questions that we wanted to kind of cover with you and try to verify some of the stuff you said, as well as clarify things that we don't quite understand. So I was hoping that we could do that today.
Okay.
Obviously, just like last time, I want to make sure that you understand your rights and everything. So before we get started, I just have to read you the same thing I did last time. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer with him, have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to execute these rights, not answer any questions, or make any statements. Do you understand each of those rights I've explained to
Yes.
you? Okay. And having those rights in mind, you willing to talk to us now?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, we've talked to a bunch of other people since then. Um, has there been anything that you've thought of since you and I had last talked, in person at least, that you can remember that maybe at the time, because there was a lot of emotions and, you know?
I don't know what else I could tell you, honestly.
Okay. So nothing that happened that night that you didn't remember at the time, or you just, like I said, there was a lot going on that you maybe didn't think
I
to
don't know
say
what to
it?
tell you because I thought I told you everything.
Okay, all right. So, some of the things, like I said, we're just trying to clarify, because we were in the room together for a while
Yes.
talking, and we went over a lot of different things. So, one of the things I wanted to clarify with you is, and try to understand better, is when Ajiko was at the door, when she approached the door, when was it that you realized that it was her coming to the door?
Because I said, who's there?
Okay, how did you know someone was?
Oh wow, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would pick up. I am so sorry. Okay. All right. Let me get it again. I was trying to do something and I didn't know that I would never mind. But I kicked myself all the way out of YouTube. I am so sorry, you guys. I'm bringing it up. Them folks says this means they have your number, Susan. Don't get an attitude now. I don't know what I could tell you that I didn't tell you yesterday. How about the truth, Susan? The truth, the truth. And who else? I saw hello survival is my superpower. What's up? Um okay. All right. Miss Principal said I'm slightly behind legacy. You're going to meet every goal you set for yourself. I'm going to try. I am going to try. That is my goal. I don't do what do they call it? Vision boards, but I have my mind set and I am going to do it, especially with the help of the moonlighters. All right, y'all, let me get this started back up. Oh no. It started Okay, here we go, y'all. I got it. I got it back. I got it back. All right. Oh, let me see if y'all see it. Yep, y'all see it. Let's go. Let's go. Let me shrink it up though so it looks okay. All right, here we go.
While
Yes.
talking, and we went over a lot of different things. So, one of the things I wanted to clarify with you is, and try to understand better, is when Ajiko was at the door, when she approached the door, when was it that you realized that it was her coming to the door?
Because I said, who's there?
Okay, how did you know someone was there initially? Was it
There was
because,
a huge banging.
okay,
Just pounding at that door.
okay. So initially, there was no words, it was just the
Yeah.
pounding, that's what started
Yes,
the interaction there?
yes.
And where was the pounding at initially, where it first began?
The front door.
At the front door?
Yes.
Okay. How many times did she, was it just like
It was,
one, or
no,
was
no,
it
no, it was
several?
just bang, bang, bang,
Okay,
bang.
all right, and then you said
Who's
you asked
there?
her who's
Yeah.
there? Okay, and what was said then?
I think she said, why do you speak to my children this way? And I said, listen, I'm not gonna speak to you, go away. You know, if she had a problem, she should have called you guys. You know,
Okay.
honestly. I mean, if she really thought there was something seriously wrong, I don't understand why she just came over and just started pounding on my door and, you know, screaming and yelling. So.
And then what happened after you said to go away?
Go away, and then it got quiet for a bit, and then she started really banging, you know, just pounding on that door. She was relentless.
How long is a bit, would you say?
I don't know,
Like
because
5, 10 seconds, or 2
oh,
minutes, or?
it was an extended period of time, probably 20 to 30 seconds,
Okay.
easily.
But during that time, you didn't hear anything else? Did you think that she went away?
No, well, I obviously knew she didn't go away because she was screaming while she was pounding.
Describe that, when you say screaming, describe what does that mean?
She was just, you're not supposed to speak to my children this way, why did you, you know, and then she was saying, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, and that's when
Well, you said there was like the initial barrage of the pounding, and you said who's there, and she said, you know, what you said that, about not talking to her children that way.
Yeah.
And then you said it got quiet. So there was no banging, there was no words being
No,
said.
because I thought she went away.
That's what I was asking, basically. I'm sorry
Yeah.
if I.
No, it's okay. I thought, all right, you know,
When did 20 seconds become a long time? She's acting like that was like an extremely long time. Hey, Brown Wife, Muffin 218. It's the Rocks. What's up? Just Shelly. Them folks, your message was deleted. If you can, I looked on my block list. You're not blocked. You weren't blocked, but if you could type in the chat again, I just want to make sure, nothing crazy is happening. I know Justin's mom deleted your message by accident. It happens sometimes. So if you could type in the chat so I'll know, everything's cool.
she's just gonna do whatever she wants to do.
And you said that was like 20 to 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And then did she start yelling again first, or
Yes.
was there more banging?
It was banging, it was yelling. I thought she was just gonna break down the door.
Okay.
So, I mean, my heart was pounding, and I was like, she's really gonna kill me.
Okay,
That's
so
all I felt.
when she first came up and where were you when she started the
I
beating,
was
the
in the
very first
bathroom.
time? You were in the bathroom
Yeah.
when she started beating?
Yeah.
And did you come to the door?
Well, I was approaching the door, and then she started screaming, and I knew who it was. And I
Okay.
said, that's it, I'm not opening this door.
Okay.
And because I figured if she came in, she'd be just absolutely, pound me into the ground.
All right, and then when it became silent, after that first round of beating on your door, where were you at then? Did you go?
I think I went to wash my hands, honestly,
Okay,
because I didn't know who was at the door, and I wanted to know, and then I was like,
okay,
so I went back and washed my hands.
okay.
So,
She went to wash her hands. Last night she went to the bathroom. Just want to point that out.
So that's during the time where it was kind of quiet, you
Yes.
thought that maybe she went away?
Mhm.
Okay, and when the banging and the yelling started again, where were you at then?
I think I was in the kitchen.
Okay, all right, and then what happened?
And then she just kept banging and yelling. I'm like, you need to leave. You're trespassing. Get off my porch. Get out of here. I'm not talking to you. Leave.
Okay, who else was outside the door besides
I have no
Adrica?
idea.
You don't know?
I have no idea.
Where were the other kids? Because I know the kids had been over there prior to her coming over?
Yeah,
or-
they were right by the, where the fence is, and then there's a sidewalk. They were right
Yeah.
beyond that sidewalk, inside where it's supposed to be no trespassing.
Okay, so they were outside of the fence while she was banging on the door?
I have no idea.
Oh, you're not sure?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You asked me when the kids were there earlier.
Right.
So, and the kids finally, I went inside. I figured they left.
So you didn't know who else was out there
No.
at that time? Okay, so you went to the kitchen and she was still pounding on the door
Pounding on
and
the door.
yelling? And I know we've kind of gone over this a lot, but I want to make sure, now we're getting more like in order of things, because the first time we talked, it was kind of just like, it all came out all at once. And now that you've had a little bit of time to kind of think about things that happened again and try to get it in a good order that things happen, because it's very important to be able to say, okay, this happened first, this is what happened next, so that we don't get them confused or anything.
Okay.
So after that initial silence where, well, no, I wouldn't say silence, but it got quiet, you were washing your hands in the bathroom, and then the pounding and the yelling started again, and you went to the kitchen. What were you
Yes.
doing in the kitchen? Just,
I was looking for my phone.
okay,
So 'cause I put my phone down somewhere and I started panicking and I started searching for the phone. And then she just kept banging and banging and banging. I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, get out of here. And I'm like, I have nowhere to go. I mean, I was in the kitchen, there's the sliders and the sliders always locked. And just that one door, so there's no escape.
Okay.
I couldn't leave, I couldn't get out of there. I was like, Jesus Christ, and she was pounding so hard. The mirror on my wall was shaking.
okay. So that first, I'm sorry to go back, but that first time that she pounds on the door, how long do you think that lasted before there was kind of the silence? I know you said she hit the door, you said, who's there? And that, what was it said?
Probably 5-10 seconds she was pounding the first time.
Okay. And then when it started again, how long, and I'm gonna jump ahead just a little bit, but we'll kind of come back. When she started pounding on the door again and saying all that stuff to the point where you fired the gun, how long do you think that lasted?
2 to 5 minutes.
2 to 5
I
minutes.
don't
Oh,
know,
wow.
everything's kind of, it was a while. I mean, it was a while. I kept thinking, okay, you guys are gonna show up, because I had called earlier and no one was coming. I'm like, shit, I couldn't find my phone. And she was just banging and banging, screaming at me, telling me, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, she's really gonna kill me this time. That's all I kept thinking. She's literally gonna come in this house and kill me.
Okay. When did you find your phone? At what point?
After I shot her. I just started searching the house frantically until I found it, and I wanted to make sure that I called and said, I shot, because I heard her go, ugh.
Where was your phone?
I think it was in my computer room.
In the computer room? Okay.
So, let me just understand this a little better, because I'm not really sure. So, the woman that got shot, what is her name?
AJ.
AJ, right, it's AJ.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long have you known her?
I really didn't know her, I just, she was a neighbor across the street,
Okay, so how long has she been a neighbor across the street from you? Help me understand that.
a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay, year and a half and 2 years. And in that year and a half and 2 years, how many times have you guys been able to talk?
We've never talked, it's more like screaming,
No, okay, all right. So maybe better would be communicate. How many times have you guys been able to communicate in that year and a half or 2 years?
2, 3 times.
2 or 3 times. And in those 2 or 3 times over a year and a half and 2 years, what were you guys screaming about? What were you guys communicating about?
She would take her dog and walk it on my sidewalk to make sure it shit on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Like, oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Of all the places you can walk and take your animal, you're gonna come here.
Sure.
She said, it's the only place my dog would go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'm
So,
like, no, I don't think so.
okay, so you guys would have a disagreement regarding that, some screaming regarding the dog pooping where it shouldn't. What else would you guys communicate about in that 2 or 3 times?
Then one time, she was talking to the neighbors, and she said, oh, that bitch over there is crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, sorry. I walked over, I said, what is your problem? And she just went on a tirade. I have never heard someone scream like this woman. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, she exploded, and I'm like, oh, shit.
How long ago was that?
2 months ago.
2 months?
2 months ago. And then she was saying I called her kids all kinds of names, and I'm like, no, I didn't. And the more I said no, the more irate she got. Finally, I'm like, you know what, let me just back off, say yes, I'll apologize, and scurry away.
What kind of things was she saying that you called her kids?
I called them racial slurs, that I called them slaves, and that's never happened. I mean, when she said, I'm like, what are you, stop already, stop lying, And I was like, enough, what? I did call them retards once, because they just kept coming and coming. I said, are you retarded, you can't read the sign?
Okay.
How many times do we have to tell you you're trespassing,
Now, all these kids nowadays, they have tablets and phones and stuff. Are you, I mean, you can tell us the truth. I mean, it's just us in here. I think we were looking at the different videos and people were telling us about, we spoke to everyone in the neighborhood separately. Was there other times when you got frustrated or something with these kids and you've said something else that we're not talking about? I mean, have you said other words to them or something about middle fingers or something? Tell me about that.
It wasn't at the kids, it was at the gentleman.
Who's the gentleman?
I only know him by his name, Sapito.
So, okay.
So he's a guy, he gets all the kids together, so they're screaming and yelling, and they're doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, stop already. And I asked him, I said, please stop. I don't like the yelling. I just, I'm sort of gonna break down.
No, take your time. What is the crazy stuff that Sapito has these kids doing? Tell me about that.
He used to ride a four-wheeler.
Uh-huh.
And he would come around the house, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Then you have the kids on the back, no helmets, no nothing, and I'm like, stop already. The one time I went out there, he almost hit me.
Uh-huh.
He's like, missed you. Jesus Christ, really? And I'm like, I just can't deal with it. I have an injury right now. I have an aneurysm on my left kidney artery.
Mm-hmm.
If he hit me, he'd kill me.
So was it on last Friday that you were kind of giving him the middle finger then? Is that what I was understanding?
I may have given him the middle finger because they're just out there, and I took a picture, and he's like, oh, go take more pictures. I'm like, 'cause
So she don't like them kids. She said she called him a retard. Yesterday it was an idiot. Today it was today in this interview it's a retard. She was upset because somebody had them riding four-wheelers without helmets, but she don't like them kids. So why does she care? Make it make sense, because it makes none to me. The funeral Duchess says, I actually followed this story, and this lady had a sense of black people entitlement. She just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to reside in a predominantly black neighborhood, especially with children. She was old enough to get into one of those senior places where people 55 and over. Not only that, this lady is supposed to be insurance, she no, was a real estate agent. So why couldn't she find a different place to live? Hey, Jet Black, straight Chick-fil-A gal. Miss Principal said she used the Riri word. Jesus, she's just old. Hey, just Nikki, to you.
What other kind of crazy things is he having these kids do? Is it something where he's...
he would have them exercise and scream and yell, and the kids were like, we're tired, stop, we're tired.
Is he like a coach, or do they play
I
sports
don't
or
know,
something?
I have no idea.
Why is she concerning herself with what? Okay. She don't want the kids playing in the field. She don't want them playing in the street. She in the parking lot. She don't want this man playing with them, doing exercises and sports stuff with them. What is wrong with this lady besides sense of entitlement?
And he's like, come on, you weenies,
Huh.
get moving. And the kids are like, no, we want to stop. He's like, you can't stop.
Is he the father of one of those kids that live?
I have
in
no
the- You're not sure?
I
Okay.
don't know who he is. I just know that, and I asked him, I said, please. I said, one of my friends was murdered when I was very young, and she screamed. She was bound and gagged, and the guy thought he killed her, and she screamed. And so every time those little kids scream, I keep thinking of my friend Elizabeth.
Tell me about that. Well,
So, and I asked him, I said, Peter, please, these kids screaming like this, it's triggering me. I don't want to hear this, And he's like, you're full of shit, you're a liar, you're a cunt, you're this, you're that. I'm like, really? I'm like, why would I tell the story and it's not true?
I know this is kind of not really related to what we're talking about, but what happened with your friend? Is that when you were very young? Or?
14.
Oh my God.
So a guy came and he raped her and he beat her and he thought he killed her. And he bound her up. She was at Shilton factory, the Old Spice factory in Jersey.
Oh, wow.
And next to it was a children's playground. And he buried her there in a shallow grave. And she wasn't dead. So when they coroner said that there was all dirt in her lungs because she kept screaming and screaming and screaming. So every time those little girls screamed.
Let me get this straight. Now, she didn't witness this, but she heard that this man, every time this child screamed, he did whatever it was he did to her. So, hearing children scream traumatizes her. I guess this is part of this PTSD that they tried to claim during, that her family tried to say she had during the trial. I don't know. But um, you live in a neighborhood with kids. Kids make noise, they scream. They scream because they're happy, scared. Kids scream. That's what they do. Them folks at Girl Stop, just stop. This was on Lifetime. She up here quoting a Lifetime movie. So, I this makes no sense. So you are traumatized by children screaming because of what happened to your kid when you were a little girl. What did you think? What kind of trauma did you think it would cause AJ's children once you unalived her? Or even, let's say she just shot she didn't unalive her. Don't you think that would cause lifetime trauma for this child? But especially since you unalived her, this is trauma, and somebody's supposed to be concerned about yours. Bell Tower is my home says she lies so much. Who knows the truth? Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what she does, lies. And boy, she had time last night to go home and come up with some good ones. And this is the best she did.
It just kind of, made me think of Elizabeth.
Have you ever been a victim of any violence?
Oh, yeah.
Describe that to me.
I was raped and beaten
Did that happen here or in New Jersey?
in Jersey.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
Started when I was 4, it didn't stop until I was like 20.
Okay. And was New Jersey police or whatever they able to help you out with that, give you justice or anything?
No.
Was that ever reported to law enforcement?
No, because I was starting to be killed.
Okay, so that was something that wasn't reported. And was this from a known family member or something? I worked Spectrum Victims Unit for years. Okay, so this was from a known family member. Have you ever been a victim of some kind of violence from a random person or something like that?
Yes.
Describe that to me.
I was dating a gentleman, a doctor, up in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And we were going to move forward with the relationship and everything, and he got super drunk one night, and he started beating me.
Uh-huh. So that sounds like domestic violence, someone else that you were associated with, and they did something bad to you. Was that, were you able to report that to New Jersey or whatever it may be? Were they able to arrest that
was
man?
up in Michigan.
Michigan. Were they able to arrest him for anything?
I never said anything. I was
Okay.
so embarrassed.
Sure.
I just,
Sure, that's
I'm
common.
an adult,
Yeah.
I should know. I mean, as soon as he finished and he passed out, I left.
Okay.
I just got out of the situation, never spoke to him again.
Have you ever been a victim of anything like robbery or anything like that before?
In Jersey, yes.
Okay. Were you like robbed like at a store, a gas station, or describe that to me?
We were selling tools out of the back of my car for some company, and we stopped at a stop sign. It was myself and 2 other girls who were doing it with me,
Uh-huh.
and they entered the car and just took everything.
Who's they? Who did that to you?
I can't remember. It was a bunch of guys
Okay.
that were in the neighborhood.
Were you able to get them reported and they were
We reported it, but they never found them.
okay. Did those guys ever harass you ever again or anything like
No,
that?
because it wasn't where I lived.
Okay. Have you ever been a victim of violence at your home that wasn't someone you knew, a random person coming and hurting you or something like that?
No.
Okay. Anyone's ever broke into your house before in New Jersey or in Michigan or in Florida or anything like that?
They broke into the house when we lived in Pompton Plains.
Where's that? Is that in New Jersey?
Yeah, this is up in Jersey.
And when you said they broke into, describe that to me. What happened?
It was a bunch of young kids that my brother knew,
Uh-huh.
and he had a dirt bike and everything, so they sold his dirt bike and they sold some other stuff.
Sure. And were you home when that happened?
I believe so.
Okay. When you say you believe so, did they like sneak in the night and they went in the garage?
Were you home when they did that? I believe so. Shirley testified finally. What's up? Says I'm in the bushes at work listening to this bitch lie. Oh my goodness. Them folks said cops don't believe this shit. I'm with you. This is starting to sound like some Lifetime movie stuff. Granny the Great says she's been through a lot. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, she had time to go home. You said liar Granny the Great. She had time to go home and come up with this stuff.
It was in the end of the night, and they went out into the shed.
They went out into the shed.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Scott, I'm trying to understand. I know what happened to you this time. We just talked about that. I'm saying, has anything like this ever happened to you before, where someone was trying to break into the house and hurt you or something?
No, not like this.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that's ever happened to you
No.
before. I just wanted to see if there was a similar experience. We talked about unreported sexual abuse. We talked about domestic violence. We talked about whenever you were robbed once of something by some men, and then
Wait, I'm sorry. Didn't she just say somebody? Hey, Bible lady, didn't she just say somebody broke into her house and robbed her? But now she just said no. Did I hear that wrong? I think I've heard. Maybe I heard that wrong. Okay.
there was something stolen out of a shed. Is that right, in New Jersey? Okay. But then we're talking about what happened there today. And this woman that she passed away, you said that you guys have yelled at each other 3 or 4 times in about a year and a half to 2 years. Is that right?
Yes.
And the last time she yelled at you a lot. Did you ever I've worked as a patrol deputy for years before becoming a detective. Did you guys ever get in like a fight in the street or anything like that? No, nothing like that.
You could be kidding me.
She
I
could
gotta-
never.
I'm sorry.
I gotta ask, because I don't know you that well.
No.
Did she ever brandish a weapon or anything like that, or something?
The only thing she ever did is she picked up the no trespassing sign and threw it at me and hit me.
Okay.
And that's
I know that
it.
the police came out a lot of times. Did the police ever come out for that time when she threw the sign?
Yeah, and then everybody in the neighborhood said, oh, we didn't see anything.
Okay.
So it was a he said, she said, so they said they couldn't charge anything.
Sure.
I'm like, all right.
And obviously you have a firearm. I haven't had a chance to ask you about this. Now, is that a gun that you've had for years? Or you just had it for a couple of weeks? Help me understand that.
No, over a year.
Okay, over a year.
Yeah.
And where do you normally keep that secured in the house?
That's usually next, it was in a garbage can next to my bed.
Okay. And is it like?
Now, that was the Remington that you're talking about that you got
Remington.
over a year ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we were at the house, there was the other one,
Yes.
the 22,
The
was a
Ruger.
Ruger.
Mhm.
How long have you had that firearm?
A few months.
Just a few months?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yesterday we only had one. Now there's 2? Especially after the police bring it up. Now there's 2 firearms. Bible lady said lying like a Persian rug.
And the only reason I did it is because it was so expensive to shoot the Remington.
Oh, the
So
380
the
rounds were
380, yeah,
expensive,
way
yeah.
more expensive. So I got the little plinker, just target practice and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Are you experienced with firearms? You got 2 guns, and it sounds like you have the little plinker, and you know about the price of ammo. Are you well versed with them?
I used to be terrified of firearms.
Uh-huh.
And then a friend said, you really can't defend yourself. He said, you should think about getting a gun.
Okay.
So,
When did you first get a gun? Was it just, or did you have other guns historically?
no, I never did.
Okay.
I first bought a 9mm, but it was just way too much gun for me, so I sold it.
Uh-huh.
And then I got the little 380.
Okay. And did you go to any kind of training for those using guns, like going to the range, or tell me about that?
Went to the range, watched videos.
Tell me that
and
part.
All the other stuff, just self-educating, and I was going to go take a permit to carry course.
Sure.
And I didn't get around to it.
Yeah, okay. So you were self-training yourself, you had plans to do that in the future, but it didn't come to that. So thank you for helping me understand that. And describe to me,
Okay, y'all. She said
AJ,
2.
you've only had these arguments with her a few times, but what I'm confused about is that we're talking about her banging on it 3 times, and then there's the pause, and there's everything else you just described to Detective Stiff. And you said that this was the time that she was going to come and kill you. That's confusing to me, because it sounds like you guys really didn't have any other times that she was going to come and kill you?
No, she was saying she's going to kill me. I mean, she was verbalizing it. She was saying, I'm going to kill you.
Okay.
That's how, it's not like this is the time she's going to come kill me. I
So
mean,
I'm trying to get into your
she's-
mind. I'm trying to be brought to that moment to why you believe that. And we were talking. You were in the bathroom, then you were in the kitchen. I mean, I know that she's saying something, and you're inside your house, and she's on the other side of that wall and that door. Were you able to ever see her to see if she had anything in her hands?
There's no people or anything.
There's no people. Thanks. Okay. Were you able to look through a window or anything to see if she had anything in her hands or anything? Okay. So you don't know if what's going on, but you can hear her voice.
Yes.
And you said that she's hitting the wall hard enough that was it the door?
The mirror.
That the mirror's moving.
Yes.
And she's hitting the door.
She's hitting the-
Okay. And there's no peephole or anything like that. You don't know who all's out there, but you can hear her voice.
Yes.
Okay. What made you shoot that spot on the door? It sounds like you had some experience with the gun, so bring me to that moment where what happened?
I grabbed the gun, I was shaking like a leaf, and the more she bounded, the more she screamed. I was like, stop, 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 go away, move away. She wouldn't move away. Finally, I'm going to kill you, and that was the last time, and I just fired the weapon.
Okay. Was there a spot you picked or something like that?
I just kind of, there was a door, I knew she was out the door. Shot.
So since the last time you and I talked, I went in the house, we, did the stuff inside the house as far as photographing, looking at
Them folks says that so she has a bling camera and none of this is picked up, and you also didn't try to record it. No, they were trying to look at it last night. Didn't seem to be anything there. JMM says this is a super Karen on steroids. What's up, only me 23? What's up, Rossi? Only me 23 says she was waiting for that woman to come to her. Yep, premeditated, like I said yesterday. Rossi, drive safe.
Where everything is at related to
Mm-hmm.
where the door is. And you said you had shot from the kitchen, so when you come in, it's like
Kitchen
a
table.
kitchen
The
table?
The table that's there, the two seats with the table.
Okay.
That's where I shot from.
That's where you shot from. Okay. Like right next to it,
Yes.
or like further back?
It was, I remember the table being there.
Okay. How were you holding the gun when you fired it?
Like
With
that.
two hands?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you were initially in the kitchen when, well, you went to the restroom and then you were in the kitchen looking for your phone
Mhm.
while she was pounding on the door. And you say that this, you believe it was between 2 and 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Was that total time before, from when the first pounding started to the time that you fired the shot, 2 to 5 minutes? Or do you think it was shorter time than that or longer?
To me, it seemed like 2 to 5 minutes.
2 to 5 minutes
More,
total?
well, by the time I shot the weapon, at least 5 minutes.
Okay.
So-
Did she ever try to open that glass sliding door or open the door handle or anything like that? Or was it just the pounding?
I just remember her pounding and pounding and pounding.
Okay. So you said that you kept
Remember yesterday, she was turning the door. She was hitting it so hard that, she almost had it open. She almost broke in. Remember that, you guys? Aunt Nettie said she released the footage, which is okay because the cloud knows everything.
the firearm in the trash can in the bedroom, so at some point, did you go?
Yes.
So you thought about it and said,
By the way, another thing is if somebody is like banging on my door and because yesterday it's, I'm gonna kill you, right? If somebody's doing that, do you take the time out to go to the bathroom? Because remember, you're scared for your life. So are you going to take the time out to go to the bathroom? Makes no sense to me.
I might need this, or?
Absolutely. I mean, I got terrified. I mean, I was so terrified she was going to come in and kill me.
Okay, so you left the kitchen area?
Yes.
And that's when you went to your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. Where was the other gun at that time, do you know?
I thought it was right there.
The Ruger?
I thought the Ruger was right there.
I mean, we found, yeah, it was, but you said that you used the 380, right?
Yeah.
When you fired the gun? Okay. Is there any reason why you chose that gun aside the other one? They were both loaded, right?
They were both loaded. I was just the one that picked up.
Okay, did you handle the other gun at all?
I don't remember. I honestly, God, don't remember.
Okay. Because the reason I asked is when we went in there, the 22 was actually on top of the 380. So, I'm just trying to figure out how it is that you went in there, took the 380, fired the 380, went back, and you would have put it back in there, but then the other gun was on top of it. So I'm just trying to figure out if maybe, you were just moving stuff around after things happened or something fell. I'm just trying to understand.
It may have fallen off the bed. I don't know. I just remember looking for my phone, and I just remember I put the gun back in. So, there's all kinds of papers in there, so it could have flip-flopped.
Is that an actual, do you use it for trash, or those important papers that were in
Those
there?
were papers I keep.
Okay. All right. So you said it was about, let me ask you this, and maybe this can kind of help us get a better time frame. From the time that you called 911, these kids are on my property again, they're yelling, what happened that first 911 call?
Mm-hmm.
That time that you hung up with 911, how long before she showed up and she was pounding on the door? After you hung up?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So about 10 minutes after you disconnected and they said, hey, we have deputies on the way,
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes after that is when she started pounding on
Yes.
your door. Okay. And you say anywhere from, you believe from 2 to 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there, and I just want to be clear, 2 to 5 minutes from the first time she pounded to the time where you felt in danger enough to pull the trigger?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many times, I know this is, how many times do you think she was hitting your door during that time frame that you believe is about 2 to 5 minutes?
She just kept pounding it. Just kept pounding it and pounding it.
So just
She was
more than
screaming.
5, more than 50? Like,
God, it had to be, I don't know. I can't even speculate. I just remember her pounding and pounding and screaming and yelling.
okay. And did you call 911 immediately after?
As soon as I found my phone.
Okay. How much time do you think after you fired the shot?
A few seconds.
So within a
I'd say
minute?
within a
And you
minute, yes.
immediately called
Yes.
911? Did you call anyone else before?
No.
Did you call anyone else after?
No, I don't think so, because you guys were here. I mean, you guys came right away,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
What's with the racial statements that everyone's saying that you made? I mean, have you ever used the N-word and they're using it against you? Have you said it in passing or something?
I have no idea. But it could have been I was speaking Hungarian and instead of English.
So you're native Hungarian? Is
My
there?
father was Hungarian, my mother was Polish, so we spoke mainly Hungarian in the household.
Okay. And is there? Have you ever spoke Hungarian to these kids or anything like that?
Can I just say, as far as I know, usually when people, because there are people who travel abroad to other countries and they've been called a nigga, and usually it's nigga. It ain't no word for nigga, it's just nigga. They know how to say that. Okay, so she might have been speaking Hungarian. Okay, that's her story and she's sticking to it. Aunt Natty says she didn't say AJ said she was going to unalive her on the 911 call. She said she thought she was going to unalive her, lying bitch. Oh, but when she was telling her story, she didn't, on the 911 call, I can't speak for. But when she was telling her story yesterday when she was being interrogated, she said that AJ was banging on the door. I'm going to kill you. That's what she told the police. Now, I want to remind you that she said between, it was 10 minutes between the time she hollered at the boy and AJ showed up banging on the door. Those 911 calls were logged in 2 minutes apart. So I just want to remind everybody of that. That was 2 minutes apart. So this 10 minutes and never happened. That is why I believe she was loaded and ready to go. When she told that boy, go get your mom, tell your mom to come here, she had already had this planned out. Everything was ready. There was no going to the bathroom. There was no, oh, let me go to my room and dump this out on my bed. This was already planned, in my opinion. Shirley testified, finally says she's such a liar. She got two pow pows. She waited for that lady to come and pow pow her. That 911 call was Oscar winning. She's so afraid. Then she claims at the end of the call, bitch, please. It's on Shay's video. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Because I remember. Because I knew I had heard the 911 calls, but I couldn't remember where. And then that's when I discovered last night. And there are two more calls that were played in court, but I still haven't had a chance to listen to those fully yet.
Yeah, and they looked at me and said, stop making up your language. I said, okay.
So let me ask you real quick. You know that we had your phone, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so a judge actually signed an order to allow us to go into the phone and look over certain things that would assist in trying to identify the time frames of things that happened. And during the interviews where we were out there talking to other people who live in the neighborhood, they told us that there's been times where you go out and either create video, like record
Yes.
with videos or take photographs of
Yes.
what the kids are doing
Yes.
in your area out there.
Yes.
So you know how anybody can have a phone or a device that's
Exactly.
recording. So you would imagine, I'm sure the kids have phones out in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
A lot of them have tablets that record video. So when we talk to these people and we talk to them, they tell us something, but we have to kind of verify that. So we ask them the same questions. Do you have any video, audio, anything that would document as what you're saying is true? So when he's asking you questions like that, sometimes we have to ask questions that we already know the answers to. And it's not to try to trick someone. It's just to try to see how credible they are and how reliable their statements are. So when we ask them something that we already know the answer to, and if they answer us and it matches up, then some of the stuff that we're still trying to learn and put the pieces together to, we have more credibility and believe in that. Again, he was referring to some of the racial statements that have been alleged. Where does that come from? And like, is there something more, like, did something happen in the past, or is that how you were raised, or is it just something because these kids are just always like
When I was 12 years
antagonizing
old,
you?
they're forever antagonizing me. When I was 12 years old, some girl in middle school thought I was some other girl. And it came down to where I was stuck in a phone booth, and at least 35 other people were around, all blacks. And so they ended up calling the police, and he had to disperse the crowd.
Okay, and what wound up happening then? I mean, anything?
I had to leave school early every day. I couldn't be around. I couldn't do any extracurricular activities. I just had to be very careful at school.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just, it was crazy.
So this is her fear of black kids, because when she was 12, she's always, You know, it's funny how she's got all these, and don't get me wrong, there are people who suffer a lot of trauma during her childhood. It's just that I don't believe her. That's all. I just don't believe her and her alleged trauma.
So I'm sorry. How did that? I mean, you're kind of describing it. I can take a guess, but I mean, how did that make you feel towards your classmates? Did you have friends at that school?
Yes.
Okay. So you had people that you could confide to and be friends with, but you said that you had to be escorted to the bus or something like that.
No, I left 5 minutes early every day.
You had to leave early every day. Okay. Um, are you? How old were you when that happened?
12.
12. And I mean, it sounds like there's been some issues. I mean, is that something that's caused problems with you for the rest of your life?
No.
No, that doesn't. Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay. So we're just trying to figure out where some of these, we heard that you said the F word and the B word. These are what the kids are saying.
I definitely dropped F-bombs.
Okay. And what are you saying the F word to?
Pick your fucking shit up.
Referring to stuff on the ground or something? And when we say the B word, what are you referring to that? Who are you talking to? What are you saying when you use that language?
B word.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is bitch, but I don't really know.
Okay.
Have you said that word to them?
Remember.
Or the bastard, possibly bastard?
I don't could have been either one.
Yeah.
Are those words that you've used when you're outside around the kids or something like that?
I guess if they were really annoying me, I may have let one slip.
Okay.
You know,
And how would they really annoy you? Like just
screaming. They
okay.
would scream.
The screaming, and that would maybe let one slip. Okay.
But the girls would do something so stupid. I've never seen anything like this before. They would go face to face with one another and see who could scream louder.
Yeah.
5 feet outside my door. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, why? I want to see who screams louder. I'm like, take it over to your house.
Sure. Okay. So Detective Stith has been talking to you about the timeline, okay? And some of the work we've done. Now, this is a picture that I draw. I'm not an artist at all, but when I tell you some of the work we've done, we spoke to all the people over. This is your house, by the way. Okay, this is we'll put an S for you. We spoke to everybody in these buildings. We spoke to them all in these buildings, and we talked to anybody that had cameras that would see different areas. These cameras, they hear things. We're able to hear audio. We're able to hear things like that. And everyone that we interviewed, I pretty much got the same, Detective Stith, I think we all got the same statement from every single person we interviewed. We lined up, well, we didn't line them up. These people were interviewed in different locations. Some of them were interviewed in different buildings, in different places. I interviewed them at different houses, and all these people provided me similar statements, okay? No one that provided these people could hear her talking, okay? Because she was talking loudly. You said that you could hear it through the wall, and I can agree with that, okay? She made a statement, something to the effect of, why'd you take my kid's iPad? Okay, somebody heard her say that.
I never touched an iPad. I never saw the iPad. I don't know what this iPad is
A
about.
tablet or something like that?
Again, no tablet, no iPad, no electronics at all.
Just a reminder, her fingerprints were on the iPad, okay?
It was
Sure.
never there, or at least I never saw it.
Okay.
So I have no idea.
Was she,
what
maybe she's wrong, but was she asking you about a tablet or accusing you of something with a tablet or an iPad? I don't know if it's an iPad or a tablet. She could have?
She could have.
Okay, you seem unsure of some of the stuff she's saying through the door. Did she say, you're not really sure if she said that?
She could have said it during her rants.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's saying these things. The thing is everything that we've learned so far, I have not learned of her ever saying to you that she wanted to get into the house. It sounded more like she wanted to talk to you outside of the house.
How do you want to talk to outside the house when you're banging and screaming?
Yeah.
That's not reasonable.
One of the people said that she said, "Come outside."
That's not, I'm sorry,
Come
that's
on.
not what?
It's not reasonable and prudent. I mean, you just don't, bang and expect someone to come out. Yeah, I think I'll come outside so
Right.
you can,
Well, I know. I mean,
seriously.
What I'm learning, what these people said is that she was saying to come outside. She wanted to confront you about something. She wanted you to come outside. Do you remember her making statements and asking you to come out there and talk to her?
I honestly don't recall.
Okay, so you don't remember that, and you seem unsure about some of the statements she made about the tablet. No one that we've interviewed so far has made any statements about her saying that she wanted to kill you.
That's what I heard.
Okay. You said you were so in fear and you're shaking. Is your memory affected regarding this incident in some way?
I just remember being terrified that she was banging and screaming, and I just remember hearing her say, "I'm going to kill you." Her son, earlier in the night, before I called the police, I don't know how old he is, but he said, "I'm going to make sure you get killed tonight."
Which son? She has two sons.
Now, last night she knew the ages. She also knew the names. And she also, by the way, knew how to spell AJ's name, which is something I still keep messing up. I still keep messing up the spelling of her name. But she knew how to do all of that last night. She knew which son was which. Let's hear what lies she's going to tell.
I know. remember, it was one of her sons, but he was there, he's like, I'm gonna make sure you get killed, I'm gonna make sure that you know, and I'm like, what the hell is going
Has this
on?
And I do not believe that. What child says, I'm going to make sure you get killed? What child says that? JMM says, I think she's going to have to look out for the sisters in prison. Oh, but there's more. There's more. We gonna get to, hopefully we can get to that today. Muffin 218 says she's really making it up now.
has this person ever shown you a weapon or anything like that?
No, but, I mean, the little kid said it, and then all of a sudden his mom's coming over, and she's banging and screaming, and
Now, I asked you this earlier, you said you can't see out there, but you've only seen her a few times.
Mhm.
What means does she have to harm you? Through the wall?
she, like I said, she was banging so much, everything was shaking and moving,
Now, that house,
which I couldn't believe because it's a cement block house.
that was my next question. So it's a cement block house, and the door, the deadbolt was activated, right?
The deadbolt was
Okay.
activated, right? And you
I
just didn't
don't-
have the chain lock?
I was gonna say, I remember I didn't have the chain, I'm not quite sure if I had the deadbolt on or not.
Okay. I believe the last time
Remember last night? She had the deadbolt on. She had everything was locked up. She had a chair under the door. All of that last night. Now today, look at this.
we talked, you said you had the deadbolt, but you didn't want to get back close to the door to do the chain, is from what I recall. And you said you had the extra long deadbolt just installed, what was it, recently?
Charles did it.
Okay, Charles.
So that's what the deadbolt's activated, the door's closed, it's a block house. I'm just trying to understand what made you so in fear of this woman if you have these things between you.
When we had spoken previously on the other time when she screamed at me and I finally acquiesced, I said, whatever you want, I'm so sorry. She followed me a foot behind me up until I went into the house. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, she gave me the creeps.
What happened during that incident where she followed you? What was the conversation?
She said, oh, you called my kids, I can't remember, I think a nigger and a slave or something stupid like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I finally said, I'm gonna leave this alone. I don't need, to get killed in the street.
Did she tell
Did you hear how smoothly that came out, nigger? Most people, most white people, they will say, especially during things like that, like a police interview or something, or if you're being interviewed by a reporter or in a formal setting, will say the N word. You see how that came out of her mouth? How quickly that came out of her mouth. Hey, boho hobo, she says, I would be safe in the courtroom at this trial. I hope the inmates hate her as much as I do.
you if she had recordings of you saying that?
Oh, wait. Hey, Major's wife. Major's wife says, wait, she said she never called them that in another interview. In this one, she's admitting she called them those names. Well, she's saying that the mom is saying that she called them names. Um, she's not technically admitting that she did, but we know she did. Especially the way that's ever so easily rolled off her tongue.
I have
Or
no
like
idea.
one of the kids?
I have no idea.
But you apologized and she continued to follow you anyway?
Yeah, she followed me anyway.
How far did she follow you?
Like right up to where I go in by the wood.
By the fence
Yeah.
to?
As a matter of fact, you know what, Major's wife, let's go back. Let's go back.
I don't know how old he is, but he said, I'm gonna make sure you get killed tonight.
Which son? She has two sons.
I know, I don't remember, it was one of her sons, but he was there, he's like, I'm gonna make sure you get killed, I'm gonna make sure that you know. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Has this person ever shown you a weapon or anything like that?
No, but, I mean, the little kid said it, and then all of a sudden his mom's coming over, and she's banging and screaming, and
Now, I asked you this earlier, you said you can't see out there, but you've only seen her a few times.
Mhm.
What means does she have to harm you? Through the wall?
she, like I said, she was banging so much, everything was shaking and moving.
Now, that house,
Which I couldn't believe because it's a cement block house.
that was my next question. So it's a cement block house, and the door, the deadbolt was activated, right?
The deadbolt was
Okay.
activated, right? And you
I
just didn't
don't-
have the chain lock?
I was gonna say, I remember I didn't have the chain, I'm not quite sure if I had the deadbolt on or not.
Okay. I believe the last time we talked, you said you had the deadbolt, but you didn't want to get back close to the door to do the chain, is from what I recall. And you said you had the extra long deadbolt just installed, what was it, recently?
Charles did it.
Okay, Charles.
So that's what the deadbolt's activated, the door's closed, it's a block house. I'm just trying to understand what made you so in fear of this woman if you have these things between you.
When we had spoken previously on the other time when she screamed at me and I finally acquiesced, I said, whatever you want, I'm so sorry. She followed me a foot behind me up until I went into the house. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, she gave me the creeps.
What happened during that incident where she followed you? What was the conversation?
She said, oh, you called my kids, I think a nigger and a slave or something stupid like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I finally said, I'm gonna leave this alone. I don't.
Okay, whatever. Yes. So I apologize. So you're right, Major's wife. That does sound like she did actually do that. Major's wife said, I say she's admitting to it because she said her response was, okay, whatever, I apologize. Her response to AJ shouldn't have been, I never should have been, I never said that. You're right, Major's wife. I'm gonna agree with you on this one. She is low key admitting that she truly did call them that.
Need, to get killed in the street.
Did she tell you if she had recordings of you saying that?
I have
Or
no
like
idea.
one of the kids?
I have no idea.
But you apologized and she continued to follow you anyway?
Yeah, she followed me anyway.
How far did she follow you?
Like right up to where I go in by the wood.
By the fence?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened after that?
She finally just went away.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was like a month or two ago.
Okay. And was that an incident dealing with, she had the dog and the kids were over there?
No.
No, that was something different?
Something different.
Okay. And I think that was, I want to say, was it April? Does that sound right with you had called because, again, the kids were over there, the dog was over there? Does that sound about right? Okay, but that was a different incident.
Yeah, it was
than
a
what
different
you're-
incident,
okay. And where were you at when you had that conversation where she started following you? Where were you?
I was in the street.
Okay. Like by the mailboxes or
No, I was close to her driveway.
close to her driveway? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did she make any threats of physical violence to you then?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Okay.
She was following you and that made you feel creepy, right? Or creeped you out, I think is the word you said?
Yeah.
Okay, but there wasn't any threats of physical violence then. And you said,
Why
She can remember her friend and when she was little who was murdered. She can remember that. She can remember being surrounded by these, I guess, black kids when she was 12, but she can't remember something that happened a few days ago.
if the conversation is over, why would you still pursue someone? I mean, to me,
Was she still saying things? Was she still?
no, she
talking?
just
She
followed
just
me,
followed
and
you.
I just felt like, at any point in time, she could knock me down and
Mhm.
do something. I was like, oh my God. And I didn't tangle with her anymore.
and was it only her kid that you called a slave, or was there other kids in the
I
neighborhood?
never called anyone a slave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Never.
thought you said
No.
sorry for it.
I said I'm sorry for it because I didn't know how else to diffuse the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you told her that you did say that, but you're saying that you were saying it to diffuse the situation?
Yes, absolutely.
So have you ever called any of those kids?
Never called them a slave, never.
Never said anything about this not being an underground railroad?
An Underground Railroad comment or something like that was mentioned?
No?
We did so many interviews, there
Jesus
was,
Christ, no. What
there
the
was a
hell?
statement like that made.
All right, that's new to me. I mean, it's completely new to me. I don't know where the hell that came from.
So, Susan, I'm looking at this from the outside here.
Boho Hobo said, guys, I'm usually the token cracker in our chats. And the way she used the N word so casually ain't nothing my people would ever say. I love you so much. You have brightened many days for me. And we appreciate you being here, Boho Hobo. And I know sometimes we get intense, especially when it comes to racial matters. But, I'm glad that you are able to be here and not feel uncomfortable with what goes on in our chat sometimes. and you are always, always welcome.
And this really is not adding up to me. You used the word reasonable and prudent earlier. That's an interesting series of words to use. That's like a series of words that we use as law enforcement officers when we try to look at things. And there's a big jump here that you're making logically I can't seem to make the jump. I'm having a really hard time getting there. You've known this woman for 1.5 to 2 years. Your only communications were 2 to 3 times. The dog's pooping, and then there was another time where you called her, you said, I'm sorry about calling your kids some names, and she followed behind you. You thought that was creepy. She's never threatened you. She's never displayed a firearm towards you. She starts yelling on your patio area, banging hard on your door, which your door is locked, and then you're scared. Now you're saying that you're scared, which, okay, I can get to that. I can get to that point that you're scared there's someone knocking on your door.
No, it wasn't knocking, it was pounding.
Pounding. There's someone
It was
pounding on your
pounding
door. Right. There's someone pounding on your door. They're pounding on your door, and I can't get to the point where pounding on the door leads to you being hurt or killed. I can't get
Because
that.
I
How
thought
did
she
you
was
get
gonna
there?
break the door down. The door, you could see that it was all repaired and re-repaired and all that crap like that, so I never felt that door was secure.
You have an extended deadbolt, and you've never been in any kind of violent situation where someone's kicked in your door or like Kool-Aid Man through your entire wall. There's not been that situation. So I'm trying to do the reasonable and prudent. I'm trying to come into your shoes there, and I'm having a hard jump there because describe to me, AJ, what does she look like?
Tall black woman, heavy set, you know.
Okay. Does she have a very muscular? You've only known her for a year and a half. You only had so many communications. I mean, is she like a muscular person that's able to like, I don't know, do extreme feats of strength? Does she weight train in her front yard? Help me understand this.
No.
That's what I'm trying. I'm having a hard time with
He's
this.
not being facetious, he's just trying.
Does she weight train in her front yard? Like, I'm trying to figure out where this fear that you have came from, okay? Um Bible lady says at Boho Hobo, you and Susan are not the same. You are family. She is trash. Shirley testified finally said her phone calls piss me off and that damn sister. Yeah, I think I might show the sisters, when they were pleading for her, light sentence. Them folks says this is where they start really laying the pressure on her to make her crack. Right. Right. And watch how she doesn't crack. That's the thing. Yeah, weight training. He was like, I'm just trying to understand. bolted, bolted doors, brick house. Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, how did you think she was gonna get in? Yes.
Understand
I'm
how
just-
we got from the point of
She's
someone pounding on
creepy.
your door
But to get to, she's gonna get through the wall is where I can't get there. I don't understand. What if, and I was thinking about this earlier, what if the police officer had already arrived and she is loud and she's still yelling, and now the officer's standing in front of the door and he does some knocks, but she's still on that darn patio yelling, and you're shooting, you can't see, there's no peephole, there's no window, there's nothing, and then you shoot, and what if the darn officer was on the other side of the door? You see what I mean? And obviously she's still running her mouth, she's still going, but you don't know what's on the other side of that door.
Hopefully you would have introduced him.
I sure hope so. I mean, and that's what some of the issues are, that I can't get there, and I don't understand entirely what was going on in your mind, and I don't see how that is entire. Were you on alcohol or anything like? I gotta ask these questions. Were there anything in your mind that would impair yourself in your judgments?
I took Belbuca earlier in the day.
What is that?
It was for my back.
Okay, is that a narcotic?
Yes.
I'm not a muscle relax. I'm guessing here.
No, it's a pain reliever.
Okay, it's a pain reliever.
Mhm.
And does that have like something on the bottle that it would?
It's a film.
Okay, does that like don't use
Wait a minute. I want to hear
alcohol or anything like? I gotta ask these questions. Were there anything in your mind that would impair yourself in your judgments?
I took Belbuca earlier in the day.
What is that?
It was for my back.
Okay, is that a narcotic?
Yes.
I'm not a muscle relax. I'm guessing here.
No, it's a pain reliever.
Okay, it's a pain reliever.
Mhm.
And does that have like something on the bottle that it would?
It's a film.
Okay, does that like don't use motor vehicles or something like that? What does it do to you? How does it make you feel?
It just makes me sleepy.
It's
Okay.
called, what is it called?
Belbuca.
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 Okay.
Does that have to do with your artery issue in your kidney?
No, I had a car wreck. So I had a fusion in my lower back. I'm sorry, fusion in my neck, and then laminectomy in my lower back.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got this knee that goes backwards. So I
Okay.
have some issues.
Okay.
And I have a torn rotator cuff.
Okay. And do you have issues with any kind of previous, from the car accident, I have to ask, a head injury which would impair your memory or affect your memory or anything like that?
I don't remember. I think I hit my head on the steering wheel from the accident.
Okay. Do you suffer time and spatial memory issues where you can't remember certain amounts of time and things like that? And the reason that I ask that is you have indicated that this was somewhere between like 5 to 10 minutes or something. Am I getting that right, Detective Stiff? Okay. Okay.
Y'all know I had to look that up. It is a narcotic for long-term pain. But this woman, okay, she had just had surgery on her neck. I forgot when that was and what incident. Then there's something wrong with her hand. Then there's something wrong with her back. And then she's got PTSD. And then there's some other things wrong with her. She is laying it on thick, on thick. They had, I don't know if the GoFundMe is still active. At some point while I'm in the middle of doing this series, I am gonna look for it to see, if it's still active or has it closed. Has it closed down?
From the cameras that we've looked at in the area here, this incident did not last for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Now, from the people that we spoke to, there's aspects of this that I can agree about. She's talking loud. She's banging on that door. We're going to agree with that. But the actual number of knocks, you did 3 knocks, and then you said there was a pause.
I never said 3.
Well, you said bang, 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 and then she stopped, which I counted 3. Now,
Okay.
if there was something different, you can tell me. I'm just
Okay.
I was remembering earlier. You said bang, bang, bang. There was 3. Then she stopped, and then she continued to, and then what happened. Nothing has led me to believe as an investigator that it was like 5 to 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, maybe it just seemed like it was longer.
Okay.
Probably because, the adrenaline rush and just getting so upset. And
Sure. Whenever adrenaline comes in, it can make things seem like they stretch out. From some of the other statements we've got, some of the things that we've learned, it sounds more like there was 3 knocks, and then there was 3 more, and then she was shot. It sounds like this was very quick. It sounds like this was like within a span of less than 20 seconds is what I would say. Is it possible that your time is off on this?
it could be.
Okay.
Because to me, it felt like forever.
Okay.
So,
if this is like what's being described as a 20-second, this is a brief encounter. It's a brief encounter with loud banging, with loud yelling. The statements that some of the statements that you're saying occurred, like I'm going to kill you and those kind of threats. No one else has heard you. No one else has heard her say those statements. Okay. I'm worried that some of the prior experiences you've had in your life that we've talked about today, they are traumatic experience, sexual violence against you, when you were a kid, all those people coming and trying to get you, that there's something going on in your head. Are you not sure about some of the things we've talked about today regarding some of the things you're saying that you heard? Is it possible she never threatened you at all?
no, I swear to God, I thought she said, I'm going to kill you. I mean, that's why I just panicked. As soon as those words came out of her mouth, I was like, Jesus Christ, she's going to kill me.
Okay. And how did you imagine yourself being killed? Remembering that there's that block wall and that door, how was she going to be able to do that? What makes you think that she was able to do that?
She was still pounding, but she could have come right through that glass wall. I mean, the glass door.
Well, we talked about pounding on the door. Did she ever pound on?
Where's the glass door at? The door is not. Bible lady says, is this officer on speed or something, or is he just? No, wait a minute. Is this officer on speed or something, or is he just ready to be done with this questioning because he knows she's lying? Well, I will tell you, I have him on speed. I boosted it up. Just a smidge because I didn't want to I did not want to, because this is a long interview. So I wanted to because I want to get to some other stuff, about this case that I'm just so anxious for you guys to see. Um, so them folks said he said all those people coming to get you. He is respectful, but he buys none of this shit, right? Them folks. Snoopalicious said, "Ugh, she makes me so angry." I know. It's like I want a piece of her. Life ain't over. Says something's wrong with her hand. I wonder which hand she used to pull the trick. Oh, life ain't over. Good question. Good question. That is a good question because she's in such pain in that hand. She's taking something for that too. Now, Major's wife says, I think he's annoyed with her. And I do. I think because, this is his second time having to fool with this lady and her lies and her, I can't remember nothing. But the fact that I was scared and she said, I'm going to kill you. This is, and I think that's pissing him off, especially since he done talk to folks they done talk to folks in the neighborhood. And they've also I think seen other videos and ring cameras and bling cameras and stuff. So I think that they are a little frustrated.
The glass wall? Is it a window or wall? Help me.
It's doors. It's sliders.
Glass sliding door.
Yeah.
She pound on that?
She may have. I don't know. Well, I kept thinking that she's going to gain entrance. She's going to kill me.
And that's why I asked you earlier if you recalled if she tried to. Was that door locked? The sliding glass door? Does that say? Do you have like anything?
I had I think there was a wood piece
in the slider?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't recall if she tried that door?
I just remember lots of pounding.
Lots of pounding.
Just to me, it was just an enormous amount of pounding, screaming, yelling, and I felt like she was going to come through that door.
And I think Detective Pender touched on it. Like in your head, what during the panic, during all these thoughts, what did you feel that was going to happen?
She's going to come in there and beat the shit out of me until I was dead.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I felt. I mean, I don't understand why she came over my house. If there was all these issues and problems, why didn't she just call somebody? You know, that's, to me, that's what you would do if you're normal. You know, and that's a normal thing to do. If something happens to me, I call the police, you know.
Yeah, we
Okay,
know.
you know, the
We
kids are
know.
being mine, or she's banging in, you know. But when I couldn't find my phone and everything, I was just like, shit. You know, I honestly, I felt she was going to kill me.
Okay, so during that time, you had hung up with 911, you still estimate approximately 10 minutes before the banging started?
Yes.
And then you saying anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes or longer that the banging and the yelling lasted. However, as Detective Pender mentioned, we've reviewed video, we've talked to multiple people out there who all kind of give the similar, I mean, everybody's perspective is different, and that's why I asked you this same question a couple of times, because people's perspectives, we could be both looking at the same thing, and later on you asked us the same question, and we have different reactions, different answers, because we focus on different things, we remember different things. That's why everybody's unique, and that's just the way it is. But to be that similar in some of the specifics of what we're really looking at, we're talking about a very tight, a much more tighter time frame of this incident that happened at your front door before that shot was fired. So is that possible? Is that feasible that it was a shorter time frame?
To me, it felt, I mean, I'm giving you what I felt and what I thought it was.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Now that you're out of the moment,
Mhm.
I mean, do you think that she could somehow get through that wall now that you're out, now that you're not in the house anymore, and that
I
you?
still feel that fear. I just still feel she was coming at me. I'm sorry, that's what I feel.
Okay.
I just, you know, it's been playing in my head over and over again, and I just kept thinking of that and how terrified I was.
Was your goal to shoot and kill her?
No,
What was your goal?
to shoot and hopefully, you know, she'd hear the shot and dissipate.
But you took aim at the door, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And the goal was to strike the door and to dissipate it. I'm having a really hard time making this jump here, that this unarmed person on the other side of the wall is somehow gonna get into your house and kill you. I'm just really having a hard time getting there. I've been doing.
So last night I had mentioned, a peephole. I swear I saw a peephole. Okay. And maybe I didn't. But so now I'm finding out there's a sliding glass door. And she was afraid she was going to come through that. Right. So she couldn't look out the sliding glass door to see that this lady did not have a weapon. Boho Hobo says, I live alone in an apartment in St. Louis City, unaliving capital. I would crawl out my window before holding a loaded weapon at the door. This is unbelievable. A door that you really don't know what's on the other side, what she has or anything. You're just assuming and you fear for your life. Major's wife says the fact that she's answering questions without a lawyer shows a sense of entitlement. She really thinks she did nothing wrong, very delusional, intentional. Yeah, she does. And it even, see, and here's the thing, she went in, before and answered these questions and had an interview. Now she's on interview too. She just thinks this is a formality and she's just answering questions. But oh boy, does she get surprised. And I want to say, as somebody who, when I had my house, I had weapons, and by weapons I mean knives, pepper spray, tucked in a drawer in my room, tucked between. I couldn't put anything because I had one of those water beds with the things in them, so I couldn't tuck anything in the bed. But I had something near. I had stuff hidden everywhere. I had stuff hitting because all through the house, the front, the back, because I lived alone and I wanted to be prepared in case anything popped off. So that's what I did. And if somebody came, like, I remember one time somebody came over selling sweepers, or is that Amway who sells the sweepers? But anyway, they were selling sweepers. And I would not open my door, and they pounded on my door because here was the thing: you're selling cleaners, but you don't have a vacuum cleaner. And he banged on my door, but was I afraid? Yes. Did I call the police? No, because he did go away, but I was prepared in the meantime and in between time, if I had to call 911. So, it is scary when you live alone, but you do. I mean, it's me and my sister here right now, but I still I don't play. You come knocking on my door talking about something stupid, you don't get in. Period. Shirley testified finally says she's an entitled Karen, premeditated Karen.
this job as a homicide investigator for several years, and I've seen houses that are made out of like pretty much paper mache. Okay, doors that are so thin, like walls that balsa wood you can just push through. And for this is a block house with a solid door. I just don't. I've seen cases before where there is an angry spouse and say, "I'm let me back in the house. You can't throw me out," and they'll kick the wall as hard as they can, and they're not getting in some of these. Some of these doors open inwards, outwards. I don't know which way your door opens. Which way does it open? It opens outward?
I think it opens out.
Okay. So
It
opens inwards.
it opens inwards. Okay. So they work on these doors and they're not even able to make entry, and they just give up. And I'm really having a hard time understanding like how you. If you could go back in time, would you not do what you did? Would you take it back and I don't know, wait another however long it took for the police to get there? I'm trying to understand that. Would you feel like you did something wrong here?
I did what I felt I had to. I honest to God thought she was going to kill me. I mean, that's all I felt. I just felt that terror. I mean, it was sheer terror.
You know, that's her go to. I honestly thought she was going to kill me. I honestly thought she was going to kill me. Girl, stop.
So I went out to the house that morning, you know, when I met you out there, and I tested the door. First of all, I looked at the door. We processed the door just to see what areas might have been touched by AJ. I looked at the door frame where it had been repaired. It looked like there was a type of putty or something used where the wood frame had been separated. I examined the deadbolt lock. The strike plates were in there pretty fastened, pretty securely. The bottom lock, just the doorknob lock. And even with the door closed, I stood on the outside. There were no indentations, no dents in the door anywhere that I could see, and I pounded on the door pretty hard. And that was with the door unlocked completely. There was no lock secured, and that door was very sturdy. And I'm not trying to take away the fears of being scared and everything, because I think that is a legitimate, scary situation to be put in. But to justify to go from being scared to a point where you're taking deadly force on someone who's standing on the other side of the door and you don't even know where you're shooting at, that's a big jump. And I think that's where Detective Pender is.
It could have been one of the kids standing there or something.
But it was her standing there. I mean, I heard her voice.
Sure, but some people don't talk. They're more quiet.
Regardless of that fact, as I was saying, to go from that, and I didn't even have any locks, and I'm pounding on it. And yes, there were our forensic technicians were inside looking, and yes, things were vibrating, but they also stated that the door didn't seem like it was going to move, and it barely budged, even with the door unlocked. So, and that's why it's important for us to go through these things to try to determine. To try to put ourselves in your position, in your mind at that time as much as possible. But to get that, help us try to understand that a little bit more, to get to that point from a fairly secure door. Because like he said, it's true, we've gone to some of these trailers where you could pretty much push the door open and
That's not your house. Your house is pretty secure. That landlord did a good job, I guess, keeping everything secure. It looked like everything was good. So you've never had a break-in there before, right?
No.
Okay, no break-ins there. There's the rod in the track. Did you have? I know that you still spoke to this woman 2 or 3 times before. Did you speak to her earlier that day on Friday?
No.
Okay, so you didn't talk to her earlier that day, Friday. There wasn't. Did you have any conflicts with anybody in particular on Friday at all?
Just the kids when it wasn't a conflict. I just told them, come on, stop trespassing. Move along. The kids kept putting things out. They had marbles by my truck. They put their skates out. I tripped over the skate one morning that I had to leave very early, and I'm like, crap. And I'm like, stop leaving your freaking toys here. I'm not the most stable.
All right, y'all, refresh my memory. Did she trip over that skate? I remember the skate allegedly being in her yard, but I don't remember her tripping over it. I don't remember her including that. I remember her saying she could have tripped over it. And that's why she was angry that it was there. But now she's saying she tripped over the skate. Y'all refresh me. Am I getting it wrong? And, with her being in jail, because I see a lot of y'all talking about her showing no remorse. She's still not showing any remorse. Leo Lady says that the landlord didn't do a good job. Lie number 1 debunked.
Person, with my knees and stuff like that, when I'm walking. If I fall again, who the hell knows what's going to happen between my back and my knees and the other injury. And I don't understand why they just keep leaving the crap there. And I'm like,
So we've got her back, her knees, her wrist, her neck, We know something's wrong with her head, but we've got all these things now. Her knees. So we got all these body parts. Okay. Bible lady said she felt very confident in telling her lies because she thought these officers would identify with her instead of following their instincts and skills. Bell Tower is my home says if she tripped over it, all her body injuries let her tell it. She wouldn't have gotten back up. Cause I'm telling y'all, with y'all know I have fibromyalgia, right? Um, and I fell out of bed last week and I didn't even get up off the floor. I slept sitting up for a while before I got my butt up off the floor because I just could not do it. This lady is older than me and apparently has got more ailments than me. And she tripped over this skate, but yesterday she didn't. It was just in her yard. Today she tripped over it.
It's
That sounds frustrating.
It's extraordinarily frustrating.
You said there was a skate. Was there something that happened with the skate on Friday?
When the kids were there, yeah, they keep leaving the skates really close to the house. I'm like, stop already, because when you go around, you do stuff, and you're bringing packages in. Sometimes I bring the truck up. I'm like, I don't want to walk over your skates and shit. I'm like, pick your damn shit up.
Uh-huh.
So
where were those skates when you picked them up?
I want to say they were maybe 5-6 feet off the sidewalk.
On the grass?
Yes.
Okay. And you took took a photograph of that with your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And there was a video at some point. It looked like you were taking a picture or a video through the screen from you being inside
Yes.
to them outside.
Mm-hmm.
Is that around the time frame that you shot on the bird or something along those lines? Maybe not
Probably.
really. Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Because it looked like there was a bunch of them kind of further out in the field, but there was a lot of kids playing out there, and I
There was
guess.
the screaming. You heard how much
Yeah.
they were screaming over the
Yeah.
TV.
Okay, so when you went out there, and one of AJ's kids was out there, and this is around the time frame where you threw the skates out into the yard or something
Yes.
like that. But this is also that was what was reported to us from a few people.
Yes.
But also during that time frame was where that tablet situation came up. So is there
I
any
don't
reason?
know what this tablet thing is.
It's like an Amazon tablet, electronic tablet.
I never saw the tablet. Never. He kept saying, "Where's my tablet? Where's my tablet?" I had no
Oh, so
tablet.
he did ask you
Oh, yeah.
about it, but you didn't have it.
Of course not.
So you never.
I
moved
never
or
saw
picked
it,
up?
never picked it, never touched it up, nothing.
Why would he make that part up if
I have no idea.
Because he said, and it really doesn't change.
Doesn't change.
It doesn't change anything. I'm just trying to understand. He said that he was going to the basketball courts after they played in the field. And he's like, I forgot my tablet, and he comes over and he sees you holding it, and he
I've
says,
never-
put it
no,
down,
no.
and you kind of tossed it down, and then that's when you threw the skates, and one of them hit him in the toe or the foot
No.
or something like that.
No, because they were standing here and I threw it with my left hand.
Okay.
I made sure that I didn't. I just threw him over to the other side. Never
And that's
touched
when you
each
told him
other.
to fetch or something.
Yes.
You told him to
I
fetch
said, you can
it.
go fetch it over there now.
Okay.
Because he said, give me my skates.
She told him to go fetch it. Oh my gosh. I cannot. Look, Leo lady said I need rails. You gonna start a GoFundMe, Bible lady, for some rails? My sister keeps telling me that she gonna get some rails for my bed. Cause y'all know I fall out the bed in a minute. You don't even know the half of that story. That's for a day. It's a story for another day.
Your skates. I'm like, here, go get them.
You already had them in your hand at that point?
I
You said
think
give them
so.
to you? Okay. What were you going to do with them?
Just throw them on the other side. Just get them away.
So you don't remember the tablet or anything?
There was
like
never.
that?
I never saw a tablet. Never touched a tablet. I don't know where the hell the tablet came from. So I have no idea.
And then the situation with the umbrella. I know we had talked about it a little bit before, but do you remember who that was out there when? Was that when? Excuse me. Was that when the older AJ's older came over? What was he saying to you?
That's when he has said, I said, you guys need to leave. He said, I don't need to leave. I can be anywhere I want. I have, I forget what the hell he said. Just something to the effect that I have no limits where I can go. I'm like, okay.
Okay, but he wasn't the one that was there when you tossed the roller skates into the yard. It was the other child.
It
Or do
should
you
have been
remember?
both boys.
Were they both there with the roller
Let's say,
skate?
yeah.
thing? Okay, so when you came
What child says I have no limit to where I can go? I Y'all tell me kids is out there talking like this now. I have no limit to where I can go. Okay. All right. That's what they saying.
out, the umbrella that was behind your door, was that the one?
Yes.
Okay, and what exactly happened with
I can't wait to hear her tell this umbrella story again. I want to see if she get it right.
that? Because That's another one of those things where we were talking to people who were right there, kind of, they already heard some yelling and back and forth, so they're kind of watching, and
They've been talking with my hands, so,
swinging the umbrella.
yeah, just, come on, guys, leave, like
Okay.
gesturing. So
How
it
far
was-
away were they when you were doing this,
Oh
and
my
where do you
gosh.
think you were at?
I remember being on the sidewalk, and then they were at least 5, 7 feet away from me.
Okay.
They weren't even close.
What did they do when you were swinging it around?
Nothing.
They didn't do
No,
anything?
there was no reaction.
They didn't say anything? They didn't back away?
I
So you mean to tell me you told these kids stop playing around your place and you need to go home or whatever, and this child says, I don't have no limits to where I can go. I can go anywhere, okay? This child said this to her, but yet she's out there, these same children. She's out there swinging an umbrella at them and they say nothing. They just like take it and then what, walk away? Okay. By the way, this is not how she told the story yesterday.
honestly don't recall.
Okay.
It didn't rain on Friday. Why did you have an
I thought
umbrella?
it was raining. We had precip, and I thought when the kids got quiet that it rained finally and they went home.
So that's why you had the umbrella out?
Yes.
So if I were to, it sounds like there's a lot of things going on with the kids that day. It sounds like you're taking videos, and then there was a middle finger towards this guy. It sounds like the skates are in the way. You had to throw those because she says, "Give me the skates." You throw the skates, and then you're swinging the umbrella because they're not getting away. There's a lot going on with the kids. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yes.
Are the kids yelling that day?
Oh, they were screaming and yelling.
Screaming and yelling? Okay. It sounds like there was things going on with them, and then one of the kids' moms comes up to your house and knocks on the door. Is that right? Did she say what she was knocking on the door about? I don't remember if we covered that.
AJ? Yes.
Yes, AJ. Was it about the umbrella or the skates or something different? Because I think there's a
want to
lot.
speak to you because you're talking to my sons. I don't like the way you're talking to my sons.
Okay, so she bangs on the door and she wants to, because we talked about all the things that happened that day. She's banging on the door and she wants to address you regarding how you're talking to her sons.
Yes.
And there's already been that prior incident in the 2 or 3 times that you guys met, and one of those times it was you're talking to her sons and you're saying like racial things like that, racial
I
slurs.
didn't say racial slurs.
She said that you did.
She said that I did.
Okay. So it sounds like she has a reason that she wants to talk to you, and she's banging on your door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But she's enraged, she's screaming, she's not acting to me what would be like a normal, average, everyday, reasonable person. I mean, to me, that was someone who was really angry.
You're for certain that when you went to retrieve your gun, that's where you keep it in that trash can, that's where it was at? I'm sorry, did you remember what you were thinking about?
Susan, real quick here. Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues, depression, bipolar disorder?
No.
Have you ever had to go to a mental health facility?
No.
So if she's never been diagnosed with anything mental health wise, never been in a facility, how does she have PTSD? Because that has to be diagnosed. Like you can't wake up one morning and say, "Ooh, I have PTSD." I mean, like I don't think that I have it. Do I have flashbacks of certain incidents? Yeah, but I don't think that makes me have PTSD. If she's never gone anywhere to be diagnosed, how does she know she has it? How does the family know she has it? Aunt Natty says you have trouble with your hands, but you throwing skates, tablets, swinging umbrellas. Have a bye. Right? Bell Tower is my home says, Aunt Natty, don't forget her hips bad too. She can't bend or pick up stuff. Miss Principal says self-diagnosis.
Have you ever sought therapy for anything?
Yes,
What have you sought therapy for?
for the rape.
For the rape. Okay. And is that something you attended as a child, or something you attended later on in your life, or something like
When I
that?
was like 20 years old.
Okay. And when you were seeking therapy, what were you trying to heal? What were you trying to fix? Aside from the sexual abuse, was there something psychologically that happened to you?
I just shut down.
You just shut down?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling any emotions or anything like that. I
Okay.
just had no emotion whatsoever. It was just flat effect.
Okay. Did therapy help you with that?
Yes.
And then later on in life, you had a friend that was buried and breathing in the dirt and in the screaming,
That
and then
happened before the therapy.
and then I remember one of the words you heard was that causes you to be triggered whenever you hear screaming.
And the reason why I say triggered is I worked at the guest house
Uh-huh.
where they do therapy and stuff, so just picked up some of the words as I was working there.
Sure. So when you say trigger,
So, wait, you can go get therapy, but you've not been diagnosed with anything? Now, I know if you're a victim of a crime or whatever, you can get therapy for that because that is, of course, trauma. But like, Now, I thought it was the friend who was sexually assaulted and not her. I'm starting to get confused. I am really starting to get confused. Hey, the Duchess.
How does that make you feel? What does that do to you?
Hey, Mama J.
It just makes me feel horrible.
Horrible. What is that like? What is that feeling? Is it a feeling inside your body? Describe that to me more.
Uh, just absolutely horrible. I'm sick.
The screaming makes you feel
Yes.
sick. Okay. Does this sick feeling, does this triggered feeling ever make you do things that you wouldn't normally do? Say things you wouldn't normally say, act in ways you wouldn't normally act because of some trauma that you had?
I was going to say, I don't know.
You're not sure? Do you ever sometimes feel as if you get so upset about something, crying, angry, or something like that, that it overwhelms you? That you get overcome with emotion? Does anything like that ever happen to you?
Just trying to think. The only time was of death, but I figured that was normal emotion.
If you have to think that hard, the answer is no. Michi3 said Legacy Moon, her sister testified and said their father, oh, both of them? Okay.
Sometimes whenever people get picked on and they get yelled at and they hear yelling and things like that with you, they say things and they do things they don't mean. They see red. That's what some people say. They see red. And I wasn't myself, detective, and they say things like that to me. And I'm trying to understand if some of these kids have triggered you and made you do things and say things that isn't you, is not Susan, is not the person that's sitting in front of me. Do you ever feel like anything like that ever happens to you?
The kids definitely just make me feel, sick. They just, they call me grandma. They call me Karen. I'm trying to think, bitch, cunt. They said horrible things. The other thing was, I'm trying to think of some kind of stupid infection. I can't remember what the hell it was.
Do you say horrible things back that you wouldn't normally, that you're not proud of?
Absolutely. So I just, stop. It's like,
And
stop.
I didn't ask you this before, but I saw inside you have like it's almost a home office set up.
Mhm.
Do you work from home?
Yes.
You do? So you're all pretty much, you're always there and you're always
Yes.
having to be
Hmm.
susceptible to whatever
Exactly.
they do. And now it's summertime.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it's
in
a
school.
nightmare. But I'm very pragmatic. I'm like,
Just a question here. Miss Principal, you got kids. I know they don't cuss in front of you. Oh, thank you, dumb folks. You were asking the same question that I was going to ask. Do little children know to say the word cunt? Mm-mm-mm. Shirley testified finally says, Susie, how do you feel in prison with all that noise? Walk up to Big Bertha and call her the N word and see what happens. Um, Let me see. Justin's mom says black people do not say the C word. So, see you next Tuesday. They don't say the see you next Tuesday word. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only black person when I hear black people say it, and really this is how I learned it, is from the LGBT Q community. That's like the only place I ever really hear that word. Amongst the guys in the LGBTQ community. So, but my Bible lady said this officer should have made detective off of her because his questioning is great. Oh, he's just trying to get an understanding of this nut.
if you see the stuff up here and you know this is my front door, why do you keep coming by my front door screaming and yelling? And they're like, doesn't matter. You don't matter. I had a little black kid come up to me and said, you're white, you're old, you have no one in your life, you're not worth anything.
A black kid. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's this is a sad situation, a sad story. This is laughable. So a kid went up to her, says, "You're old, you're white, you have nobody in your life." Right, Miss Principal, a little kid. Analytical one says Brits use the C word a lot. Yeah, yeah, a little kid say that you're white, you're old, you're lonely, you don't have anybody in your life. These kids. Justin's mom says if you watch The Boys on Prime, one of the characters who is British says it all the time. Miss Principal, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, Legacy, hell, I didn't even learn what the C word meant until I was 25, and it was a white person that had to explain it. That's what I'm saying. That's just not a word that flies out of um black people's mouth. It just don't. So Boho Hobo says that's perfect that she's in a noisy prison now with no privacy or peace. Right. Bible Lady said, right. We'll call you a yes. Oh, let me see. Queen Black, what's up? Says white people say it all the time. That's not, especially, and I know it's probably more frequent now, but I mean, I was grown before I had heard that word, and I mean, I just didn't hear it. So Bible Lady says that child did not say that. That was her life true. That's what her life truly is. This principal said, according to them, kids are grown as hell. According to her, them kids are grown as hell. I forgot to say thank you for the super chat. I think, Miss Principal, thank you so much. Them folks says I only knew what it meant because I had a YT teacher in high school that explained it privately to some of us senior girls, with another one had been calling that by a YT boy. Wow. Wow. And Boho Hobo says at Analytical One, true. European people in general are a lot more loose with the words. But is that what that means? Because I know sometimes British people say stuff and it don't. Like a cigarette's a fag. An elevator's a lift. The people with the stop signs are lollipop men. So they say all kinds of stuff that I find strange. Justin's mom says I don't get insulted when I hear that word because I don't care. Means nothing to me. Me either. Me either. Queen Black said, I heard it growing up. It's a derogatory word for white women. They hate it. All right.
I'm like, great. You know,
What did you tell that person?
I told him we're always alone. Guess what? You come in the world alone, and you leave the world alone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you say that, it sounds like you handled that well. When you say that you've said things before that you're not proud of, describe that to me.
I shouldn't have called them names. I shouldn't have said bitch or fucker. I should have reined it in a little.
Okay. And then when we talk about racial slurs, have you made those not to anyone in particular? You've just spoken to the air, you've spoken to other people, because there's been multiple different ways that we've kind of been learning about you saying these
He said you just spoke it to the air.
things. Describe that to me and specifically.
In regards to,
Words like the N-word that you've said. Describe that to me specifically when you've said that.
I can't remember if I said it or if I didn't say it.
Oh, we
You sound
can't.
Whether
Sure.
it's out of
Yeah.
anger or,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
someone's calling you names and you could become kind of overwhelmed with, you're having to hear this kind of thing all the time. And like you said, you might say something that you normally wouldn't say.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
So I've noticed there's been some gaps in your memory, and that's why I've asked you about your memory, because some of the specific things that I asked, specifically this, you say, I'm not sure, I don't remember, and that's happened a couple times while we've been talking today. So I'm trying to better understand that as why you don't remember some of these things, specifically what's going on. I don't know if it's something you feel shameful or embarrassed about. I don't want you to feel that way while we're talking. I'd rather you just be honest with me. But that's why I've been asking you some of those things. Is there any reason why anybody would have any video or anything like that of you saying like the N-word? Is there any reason why someone would have that?
I have no idea. And if I did let it go, I'm sorry. I could have slipped out.
Oh, wow.
Be honest with what context would it slip out? Do you think? I mean, what would happen for you to say something like that?
If they were being extraordinarily rude, or if they were just, I was always taught the N-word meant that you were just being unlawful, dirty, just, I don't know, generally not being pleasant.
Okay, let's take her explanation here for a minute. Let's say as a little child she was taught that nigger meant, oh, you're unclean, or you're being unruly, or you have a bad attitude, or whatever other lie she's about to tell. You mean to tell me at her big old age she didn't learn from childhood clear up to now what that word really meant and how that word really hurts. Okay, all right. The analytical one says, "Ma'am, stop it." Bible lady says she got convenient amnesia. Miss Principal said it slipped out is nuts. Muffin 218 said, "I was away from my phone. Don't go to European countries and ask for a cookie. Over there, it means a hoe." Yes, it's a biscuit over there. Yeah, a cookie is a biscuit. Aunt Nettie said, "First you didn't say it, then you apologize. Now you don't remember. Ho, you lying." Her definition is taking me out.
Okay.
And that's only because, again, Dad was Hungarian, Mom was Polish, and it came up in the conversation, so they asked me to go to my friend.
Wait. Okay. Is are Polish and Hungarian people? I thought Polish people were from Poland and Hungarian people was from Hungary. At the beginning of this, she was Hungarian. Now she's Polish. Did y'all catch that? Tell y'all, somebody in this chat, tell me if y'all caught that. Yes, them folks, I thought she was Hungarian. Now she done got within an hour and so she's done got Polish. That's two different places. It is. It's crazy. Wow, this lady. Ooh, girl, you need to go back to the school. You need lessons from Sonya because I think she can do it better than you. My goodness. Bible lady says Susan could just kiss my ass. Mrs. Principal says she's probably biracial too. Let's hear how she explains that.
Sheila and ask her, what does the N-word mean? And her mom said, no, it just means that someone who doesn't work, someone who is not productive, someone who is not, acting normally, lawfully.
Sure. Okay. And in the times that you...
I'm sorry. I think there's just like a lot of other words that are, I believe, out there to describe those things as well. I mean, what is it in particular about that word or slave boy?
I never said slave boy. I never said the word slave. Never.
Okay.
So I don't know why you keep coming back to this.
Well, that's just
But
what
yeah,
was
someone had
told to
mentioned,
us,
and like I
so.
said,
No, never. Never uttered the
that
word
you
You
used
slave.
said
the
you
word
didn't
slave
know.
or
Absolutely not.
something like that. Is there any reason why anybody would have a video like that? Is there any reason why that would exist?
No, there shouldn't be. Shouldn't be anything like that.
Okay.
You know, when they say, should anybody have a video of that idiot, you know they have a video of that. Whew. It's like wearing me out.
Yeah, I mean,
What, I mean, the Underground Railroad comment, again, remember there's people out there.
I never made an Underground Railroad
Okay.
comment.
Okay.
So I don't know where the hell that came from.
okay, I kind of want to go through my notes real quick, make sure that we covered everything. We covered a lot of things. Can I get you another water or anything while I go
fine.
through this?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go through the notes and make sure we didn't miss anything here. And we'll be right back in.
Is there anything else that you need right now? Use the restroom or anything? Use the restroom? Okay, give me just 1 second. Make sure the
Walk down the hall
restroom's
so you can
clear.
get lost.
Susan alone. She probably sitting there planning what she gonna cook for dinner when she go home. It's for dinner for one. That's what Susan's doing while she's sitting there cold, drinking her water.
Okie dokie.
We go to the bathroom?
He said, "Okie dokie, girl. You know that okie dokie that's not good coming from the cops." Can look, analytical one said, "Can we get a turtle suit?" I hate when people are just accused of hideous crimes and they're in court in a turtle suit, like Wade Wilson. You know what? Despicable. Let him do what he got to do. Don't give him no turtle suit. Don't be taking his shoes and making him naked in a turtle suit so we don't harm himself. He gets what he gets.
All right, so while we were in there going over everything, and my supervisor came in, he's actually kind of been listening a little, and something that caught my ear, like when we were talking earlier, you had mentioned the words, and I asked you to repeat it because I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. You had mentioned terminology like reasonable and prudent in reference to how AJ was acting at your door while she was trespassing and everything. Where did that come from, that terminology? Is that
Watching TV.
watching TV? Okay. Like documentary stuff, or like what?
Probably just crime shows and stuff.
Crime shows? Okay. Um, I have to ask you this.
See, they caught that too, because that was not a normal thing to say. So she got that from watching the crime shows. All right.
Have you done any research on like the laws as far as like in Florida, as far as self-defense and things like that?
I looked at it today.
You looked at it today?
When I was on Facebook. Just some things that, they had it up on Facebook.
Describe that. What did you?
They just had stand your
specifically, what
ground
did
on
you read about and learn
Facebook.
about?
What's
Just
all doing it here?
they said self-defense, and I'm trying to think of what else I looked at today.
Today you looked at it. Today.
Such crap. Mostly emails.
Not
I
last
just remember
week.
saying self-defense, and there was a bunch of lawyers and stuff like that.
So, prior to today, even the last time that you and I spoke on very early Saturday morning, you had used some of that same kind of terminology in describing the situation that occurred at your front door. Prior to today, had you ever done any kind of research like that? And before I ask, let me just say, if we were to look through everything in your phone or your home desktop computer, is there anything kind of research on your internet history that would show that you've done research on like self-defense? Or have you ever heard of the term stand your ground?
Yes.
Have you ever done any kind of research on that?
Yes, when it was mentioned on some guy shot someone at a convenience store, and they said stand your ground now laws.
Was that like a Florida situation? Because I know every state has kind of different laws.
I think it was Florida. I think it was Florida.
Okay. And when was that?
God, years ago.
It was years ago?
Yeah, that was a years ago thing.
So nothing recent that would be on like your internet browser history?
I just looked it up today.
Right, but I mean other than, basically before this incident occurred at your door, but we're not talking about like a couple years ago. We're talking about within the last few months, would there be, because your internet browser, even if you delete it or you go on private browser, if we take a look at those things, because we did go through your phone, the judge signed an order for us to be able to do that. He agreed that there was reasonable enough evidence to be able to do that. So if that were the case, if we were just to look through that, would there show anything that you were looking up, stand your ground or self-defense laws in Florida on the internet?
I don't know, I look up tons of stuff.
Is it a possibility that you looked that up?
Could have been, I don't know.
Okay.
I look up, I
And
just
the reason
It went from no to I saw something on Facebook today to I don't know to could have been. He's really trying to corner her on that one. So, Very Cherry says she may have a law degree. No, I'm sorry, a law and order degree, like Sonya. I think that's what she's been watching, some Law and Order. Hey, I knew some things about the law, but I also learned some other things, law and order wise. But I'm not gonna sit up and try. If anybody had me in a police station, I'm not gonna try to quote Law and Order. I'm just gonna tell the truth as to what happened.
ask is,
articles,
I'm
I
trying
just
to,
go and see why the laws were, so I want to know why, like if they have an article, what happened in the situation, what,
well, Susan, I think you know the reason why I'm asking that question. You're smart, okay? And the reason is,
Oh, hell no, absolutely. I know what you're thinking. Did I look up the laws so I could do something? No, absolutely
this is not a
no.
situation where you set something
No,
up
no,
because you were
no.
tired of this person, you were
No,
tired of the
no,
situation that they put you in.
absolutely no.
Okay.
Sorry, no.
Okay, so while I was out there going through the notes and everything, I went through, so when someone calls 911, as soon as that call goes to our communication center, it logs it, gives us a timestamp, hour, minute, second, from the very first time that call was received to the time that it's disconnected, okay? And that's for every single time someone calls. So the first time when you called 911, talking about the boys out there trespassing and things of that. So that call started at 8:54 p.m. Does that sound about right?
Yes, I really wasn't looking at the clock or
Okay.
anything. I just remember calling.
That's what time it says on our call center. And that call lasted for 5 minutes and it disconnected.
Okay.
At 8:59, deputies are on the way.
Okay.
Okay. Now you estimated that it was approximately 10 minutes after you disconnected until the AJ started pounding on your door. Is that correct? Is that
Yes.
what? Okay. So the second 911 call where you called, lady was banging on my door, I shot her through the door. That call came into our call center, it was received at 9:01, which is 2 minutes after you hung up with the communication center the first time. So that's
Okay.
2 minutes that all these things that you say occurred happened at your front door. From
Okay.
pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding, I'm gonna kill you, all these things. Within 2 minutes, she showed up at your front door and did all these things to the time that you pulled the trigger, went and found your phone, and then called 911. So, and that's why I'm trying to get
To me, it seemed like that amount of time, that's why I thought it was that amount of time.
Well, so clearly we've established that that was not true,
Okay,
that that's not the
understood.
case, but that's what you felt it was.
It
So
felt
you
like
also
that.
told me that that's what you heard, that she was
Yes.
going to kill you. Is it possible that she did not say that, and that's what you heard or you believed, just like you believed it was 10 minutes between those calls?
I just thought she said, I'm going to kill you. I mean, that's what I heard, that's why I was so in fear of my life. I was like, Jesus Christ, and she's pounding on my door, she's gonna break in, she's gonna kill me.
But is it a possibility, if you believe that it was 10 minutes to 15 minutes, adding in 10 minutes before it started, and then approximately another 5 minutes on top of that you believe that 2 minutes was 15 minutes, was it a possibility that maybe you thought you heard that, but it wasn't that what she actually said?
I have no idea, that's what I heard.
Okay.
I'm telling you what I heard.
So, Susan, we've talked enough that I've come to a conclusion here, everything that I've learned, okay? And I see this on a scale here. Detective Stiff had brought up, you are Susan, are you the Susan that has done research on Stand Your Ground and has planned for this to happen, was planning for this to happen? There's a spectrum here. Is this a Susan over here? And then there's also could be a Susan over here that was, I have a gun in the house, I'm scared, someone is knocking on the door, I'd like them to go away, I picked up the gun and I accidentally shot the gun. There's a Susan somewhere in the world like that. You've somehow found a spot in the middle where you're trying to explain this, but it doesn't actually make any sense. That within 2 minutes, because we know it's 2 minutes, within 2 minutes, this person came over and they were able to put down a series of statements, such as, and you said this, that they came right up to and they want to have a discussion with the way that you were treating their kids that day. You said that they were able to make that sentence. I want to talk to you about the kids. I'm banging on the door. I want to talk to you about the kids. They're making statements like that. We've interviewed other people that it was a very brief interaction, and then you shot them. Now, this wasn't a long siege. It wasn't a castle siege. It didn't last for 20, 30 minutes. It was 2 minutes. So you're trying to tell us that a reasonable person would shoot somebody for less than 2 minutes of making statements outside. That doesn't make any sense. So that has to look on the scale here. Where is Susan? Did she plan this? Is she a cold-blooded killer that plans things? Was this an accident? Or was this something that got out of hand? Is it somewhere in the middle? That makes more sense. Not what Susan's telling me. Is it somewhere in the middle? Because I know that I talked to Detective Stiff. We kind of went through your first interview.
Not what Susan's telling me. In other words, you lying, Susan. They don't believe you. Mm-mm.
And in that first interview, you had even said to the kids, you know what, go get your mom.
No, I didn't.
You said something along the lines as when they said, I'm going to go get my mom, you said, go get her.
Go get her, which is fine. I'd want to talk to an adult too. I don't want to talk to a kid.
I remember saying that.
So this has happened a few.
You said it in the first interview, Susan. They're refreshing your memory, and mine's refreshed. And I remember you said it because I distinctly said, why go send for somebody? And when she come a calling, you upset and scared and terrified and dumping out trash to get your guns. Them folks said she was so arrogant to think cops weren't going to catch her up. They are professionals. And more importantly, I guess she knows they record this stuff. So they know what she said. They ain't making it up. They get paid to do this.
Times during our interview also, you have these, I don't remember. There's been a couple times that you don't remember. And these are important things to remember, and you're not able to remember them. I believe that you do remember them, and that worries me. That makes me feel like you're not telling us it because you are that you are Susan, the person that is planning. I'm just trying to figure out who's sitting in front of me here. Is it?
Hey, Miss Principal, she kept it in the trash can in her bedroom. That's where she kept it. Don't know why. Hey, Southside.
Is it over here? I've been planning this. I picked up the gun and I was waiting for her to come over because it was very quick. It was 2 minutes. Or it was I had the gun in my hand and I made a mistake. But now I've dug my heels in and I've made these statements so far to Detective Stiff about a mistake I made, and I feel like I can't go back. I don't want to feel like you're at a point that you can't go back. We are all human. And I'm going to tell you this, 99% of the people that sit in front of me in this room, they do not tell me the truth like the entire time. But then we get to a point where I show them that everything they're saying actually doesn't make any sense. And I always tell them, I say, look, we want to go the path of least resistance. We don't want to go down the path of embarrassment or humiliation or I made a mistake. They don't want to do that, but I show them everything. And they say, you know what? And I don't hold it against them. I don't take anything personally. If you had said something before that was not true and you felt like you had to go down that path to protect yourself or whatever it is, but it's not true, this is your opportunity to tell us. And I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm not going to say Susan is a jerk or a liar or anything like that. I'm going to say what Susan's saying now makes a little bit more sense for me and Detective Stiff. And this is that opportunity. If something is different than what you originally told us, I might be able to make sense out of it because I know your history now. I know that you were a victim of some kind of sexual trauma. I know that there was things that happened to you when you were in school. I know that you have gone through hard experiences, and maybe that influenced why you said the things you said before. But I can tell you right now, what we've learned, what we've discussed all leading up to this, it doesn't make any sense. So this is your opportunity.
Oh, Kayla K has a different perspective. She says, I don't think she kept the gun in the trash at all. I don't, let me read again. I don't think she kept the gun in the trash all the time. I think she shot the lady, then threw it out.
To actually tell us that something that does make sense. I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm not going to get mad. But whenever AJ was coming over that evening, what happened? What happened? Bring me to that moment when you had the gun in your hand. What were you thinking?
All I wanted her was to go away. I just, I felt she was going to come through that door and kill me. I'm sorry, that's what I felt. I just felt she was going to come through the door and kill me.
Okay.
It was a tremendous fear. I mean,
Did you
it's
feel
terrible.
bad for what happened?
Oh, Christ, yes.
Do you? Because the first time that we talked, there was a point where I informed you that AJ had passed away. And I wasn't sure if you've been aware of that or not. I know they transported her in an ambulance
Yes.
from there.
No,
But
I saw
when-
them giving CPR.
Yeah, so when I informed you that, you showed emotion, you showed what appeared to me to be at least somewhat of a remorse for what had happened. So do you feel bad for what had happened?
Absolutely.
You feel bad for the children?
Christ, yes.
So, and I think, Detective Pender we're trying to give you the opportunity to try to explain some of these discrepancies in the story, the things that don't really add up or make sense. And you maintaining that you were in fear for your life.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense. And I feel like at this point, today you really haven't, and I'm not judging you, everybody processes things differently, so I understand that. But you haven't really seemed remorseful for today, at least, for what had happened.
Oh, God. It just makes me sick. I don't know, I can't take it back. It's transpired, it's in the past, I don't know what the hell to do. It's just probably me shutting down again.
Okay. Do you think that's a trauma response or something? I know you said you had gone through a lot of
Probably,
flat
because I
affect and
just-
things like that
I
in
don't know
the
what the
past.
hell, I mean, it's a horrible situation. And inner conflict is horrible because, it goes against my faith, I broke a commandment, I feel horrible for what I did.
Okay. So, looking back on it now, and do you think that she was actually going to get through that door? I mean,
I
be honest
honestly
with us,
thought
because
she was coming through the door, and as God is my witness, I thought she was gonna come through that door. I'm sorry, it's just what I felt.
so, I mean, at this point, like, we've talked.
Here's the thing. If you thought she was going to come through that door, why didn't you wait for her to get through it and then shoot? Snoopalicious says she can't even force remorse. Very Cherry said, you broke a commandment. Yeah, out of all this is her concern. She broke a commandment. Boho Hobo says, I can't believe the lack of emotion. Mm-hmm.
To you, we talked to a lot of people and gone through the evidence. We discussed all of this with the state attorney's office as well. After talking to you for several hours on Saturday morning and then today, I feel that there was a level of fear, but from everything I've seen, it doesn't rise to the level for you to justify shooting through a closed door and with a firearm. Okay, and I think that wasn't reasonable what you
I
did.
felt so terrified. I just felt so terrified, here she comes again, again, she's screaming, she's yelling, she's acting unreasonable, and.
Let me ask you this. You said that you went on Facebook today. I can only imagine that at some point you may have seen some of the news
Yes.
dealing with this case
Yes.
and this story.
Yes,
Okay. What kind of stuff did you see?
I threw a tablet at the child, I said all kinds of things that I never said.
You know what I saw? I saw 4 kids that no longer have a mother.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I'm not taking away how you were treated, but those are children nonetheless, right? And now they don't have a mother to go home to. And I think you know what you did was wrong. I think you know that there were already deputies on the way.
But
Was-
there was times I called and the deputies never showed up.
I understand. It's been
So-
2 minutes. So you.
To me, it wasn't 2 minutes, to me, it was much longer. In my mind, it felt like.
But
an
there's only
eternity.
one reality where time
Okay.
exists, and I understand perception of time can be different for different people. But in the reality of things, you had just disconnected. Within 2 minutes, a shot was fired through that door. there was that much that transpired within that 2 minutes where statements were made. I want to know why you're throwing stuff at my kids, or whatever it was she was saying, and then shot fired, and she's down, and then another 911 call comes in. There's no way to justify that. In my mind, I don't think in Detective Pender's mind, and clearly in other people's minds that we've discussed this case with, the state attorney, our legal counsel, and things like that. So, I mean, at this point, we've discussed it with the state, and they are on the same terms as far as charging you with a manslaughter, okay?
I don't know if anybody has seen this, but check this out.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I just,
Okay, I don't know what else to say. I was just in fear of my life. Watch this though,
I
y'all.
was in fear for my life. I mean, honest to God, I just feared that she was going to come through that door. I'm sorry, that's how I felt. I can't change the way I felt. I mean, it was sheer terror on my part. I mean, honest to God, I was shaking.
So, one of the things I want to ask, because at the point where I did let you know and I informed you, what had ultimately happened to AJ after that shooting, that she had passed away, and obviously she has 4 kids, and, I was observing the interviews that were conducted with them and the emotions that they were going through. And you shared some of those same emotions at points through the conversations that we had. And I just want to, obviously I can't let you talk to them or give a message to them and face to face. But I would if it's up to you, if you would like to write them a letter or something to kind of, whatever's on your mind or in your heart.
You don't have to. We're just going to leave a notepad and a pen in the room. Obviously, we have some paperwork to do, so we're going to have to step out to do that, and obviously talk to our boss. We'll just I offer it to everybody that we can't let them talk to, so it's just something we do.
Understood.
So if you'd like to do that.
We're going to get that paperwork going, like you said.
But that's where the state's at right now. That's where we're at, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in just a minute, okay? But if you'd like to write them something, that's right there, okay?
Susan alone. Y'all think she's writing something? I don't. Because she still don't think she done anything wrong.
All right, we can head over there in a second. Can you go ahead and stand up? I need to get a picture of you before we walk you over. Stand up for me real fast. All right, can you take a step back? This is not a good camera for... All right. All right, hang on one second. We're going to take the stick. We're going to head on over there, okay?
There she is alone. What do you think is going through her mind? What do you think Susan is doing? Oh, Susie.
All right, Susan? All right, we're going to have you go with this deputy here.
No,
I'm sorry? No what?
I can't.
Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Watch this. Duchess, the funeral just says she wrote something. Oh, okay. I wonder what it said. Watch this arrest, y'all. Muffin 218 says she can't feel remorse for the kids because she hates kids. I had a neighbor like that growing up that showed no remorse for kids.
What's wrong? What's going
I
on?
just can't. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
She can't do it, y'all.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're to that point where that's what's going to happen. Obviously, this isn't a conviction. This is you being charged, and then you're going to have your day in court to present your side of the story. Okay, so you're going to go with this deputy.
No, I'm not.
You're going to be booked in
She said she not.
and fingerprinted.
Miss Principal said, "What she mean? No, Miss Principal, she's not going. She is not. She refuses to be arrested. Like the other, the other body cams that we watch. She's refusing to be arrested. She's not going to be fingerprinted. No, she's not. She thought them Karen rights was going to last her throughout this whole thing. Snoopalicious said, "Yeah, that's not going to work, Susan."
They're going to take your pictures, and then you'll have an arraignment in the morning.
I'm not going. I'm sorry.
I'm not
There's a
going,
phone
y'all.
down there. You'll be able to call whoever you need to call, and right there in booking.
I'm not going.
But Susan, we are going.
Super
There's no changing that now.
Karen.
You're under arrest. In fact, we can probably go ahead and put handcuffs on her.
Yep.
Let's
Come on,
get
Susan,
you
stand up.
handcuffed.
Stand up.
No, don't touch me.
Susan,
Stand up, Susan.
don't,
No.
Don't touch me.
It can
Don't
go
touch
one of
me.
two ways. It can go an easy way or it can go a really hard way.
I'm sorry.
We don't want to go the hard way.
I'm so sorry. I
Susan,
can't
put
do
yourself in our position. There's no choice in this. You're going over there.
this. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Susan, you understand that from the point of the story that you've given us, that by refusing and resisting, that it's making you look bad, okay? And
Susan, they about to give you another charge. You don't put them hands out, Susan. Bell Tower is my home. Said I'm gonna try that the next time I get arrested. Nope. I'm not going to jail today. I don't feel like it. Them folks said next she's going to ask if she could just pay the fee and go home like a shoplifter. Bible lady said it's the caucasity for me.
understand your reluctance to want to go.
I just can't do
Okay,
this.
well, they have
She don't feel
medical
good.
staff over there
As soon
that
as
can
you get over
assist
there, there's a
you.
nurse right in the front.
They can, you give them the
can't
prescription
do this.
medications that you're taking, all of that. They will assist you in making sure that you get the care you need.
No, I
But
can't
we're
do
going
this.
over there, okay? You're
I
gonna
can't.
go over there and,
I just can't do this.
okay, well,
Come on, Susan, stand up.
If
We
we
don't have
have-
time to
Seriously,
debate.
I can't do this.
okay, but do you understand that you're under arrest and you're
I
gonna be taken
understand
to the
I'm
jail
under
one way or
arrest.
another, okay?
I don't care.
Susan?
I just can't do this, I'm sorry.
I got something else to
what
do.
you're saying and doing right now is not reasonable.
I know it's not
There's been
reasonable, but I
peop-
just can't do this.
So when you
So-
say it's not reasonable, that doesn't make sense to me.
I understand, I just can't do this, I'm sorry.
And this is why we're in this position here, Susan, is because the decisions you make are not reasonable. You make, just like what
I'm
we're
sorry.
experiencing right now.
I'm sorry, I just can't do this. I can't do this.
I've had people sit in this chair that have done things and they get up, they walk out on their own accord. They've done some really bad things. Okay, you're not the only person, but I need you
I just
to,
feel horrible, I can't do this.
okay, well, we're gonna go to the jail.
We'll
There's
help
no
you.
changing this. There's no stopping it.
I don't care, kill me.
We're not gonna kill anybody. We're going to take you to the jail. We'd rather you walk on your own. We'd rather you just walk down there. It'd be so much better for everybody if we could just walk down
Can
there.
you just stand up for me?
No,
So what do you plan on sitting here the rest of the night?
I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna die of a heart attack.
She's
Like I
gonna
said,
die of a
we gotta
heart
get staff over there.
attack.
We want to be able to get you over
The
there.
quicker we get
They
you,
said, well, if you're about to have a heart attack, you need to get up so we can take you over there because we got medical for you if that's gonna happen.
over there, the quicker someone over there that's in medical can see you.
No, I just can't do
Susan,
this.
this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna put you in handcuffs, and if we have to forcefully bring you out there, that's what we
We're
have to
gonna
do,
do
because
that.
we are obligated
I really don't want
to
to.
take you to the jail now, okay?
Thank you for
I'm
standing up.
sorry, I just,
I understand that.
So, put your hands behind your back for me.
I mean, I
Thank you,
didn't-
Susan.
I didn't do this on purpose, this wasn't a purposeful act. I did not premeditate it, I didn't do anything like that, this is ridiculous.
Why is she saying I did not premeditate it? They never said she premeditated this. They never said you premeditated this. Look at old Susan.
We're gonna go
Hey,
this way.
bye, Susan. You going that way? Clink, clink. Okay, so
The woman at the
let me stop sharing right here because now we're going to get into some other stuff. Let me see. How do I do this without y'all? I'm still using this new split screen, but they don't give you a way to unsplit things. That's what I don't like without coming out of the app. So now we're going to get into some other stuff with Susan, like her arraignment and first appearance, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This is the stuff I had ready last night before I realized that there was a part 2 interview in my confusement. I had everything downloaded. So, okay, here we go. We are going to pick up at her arraignment. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. All right, here we go, y'all. Let me make it so it's in frame. Okay, here we go.
Woman accused of killing her neighbor, shooting the mother of 4 right through her front door in front of her children, appearing before a Florida judge.
Good morning, ma'am. What is your name?
Susan Lorincz.
Susan Lorincz, seen in a green suicide prevention vest in the Marion County Jail, listed as a suicide risk, according to the Sheriff's Department.
Y'all, I thought she was gonna have a heart attack though. Oh, was she? I guess that didn't happen. Okay.
Police say on Friday, Lorincz confronted 35-year-old Ajika A.J. Owens' children for playing in this field near her residence. Lorincz allegedly throwing an iPad and skates at the children. When Owens knocked at Lorintz's apartment, her 10-year-old son standing by her side, police say the neighbor fired a single shot through the locked front door, striking her in the chest. For days, Owen's family called for Lorinc's arrest. Florida has a stand your ground law that permits the use of deadly force if there is a presumption of fear. The sheriff saying the law does not apply in this case. Lorincz charged with manslaughter.
This situation is a prime example of when it was not justified. It was simply a killing.
Neighbors say this isn't the first time she's argued with children.
She's got history. She was the one who started everything in the first place.
And Lorincz will remain behind bars pending a bond hearing. If convicted, she could face up to 30 years in prison.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7
Now, next we're going to go into her bond hearing.
Chicago Eyewitness News.
All right, we are here for Susan Lorincz, 23 CF 2236. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody of a few rules that we have for court. Of course, you're welcome to be here in court because all courts is open. However, you cannot, if you're in the audience, you cannot say anything during court, either before or after. So everyone is hereby ordered to remain silent while they're in court, okay? Also, you cannot have your phones out unless you're a credentialed member of the meeting. So you're hereby ordered to turn your phones off and put them away. If for some reason you take out your phone, one, your phone's going to be confiscated until the end of these proceedings. Two, it could be held in contempt of court. Same thing if you yell out something in court. You can be held in contempt of court and face sanctions. Please don't make the mistake of violating these court rules. I know I'm going to trust all of you to follow the rules, and in this case we'll proceed accordingly. Give me 1 second here. It's my understanding, I'm not sure who's Mr. Buxton, the sheriff? Okay. It's my understanding the state had previously indicated they wanted to file a motion for pretrial detention, but that position may have changed.
It has, Your Honor. After reviewing the applicable statutes, rules, and case law, the state did not have a legal basis to file such a motion.
Okay. So in that case, we will legally required to set a bond for this offense because it's a bondable offense.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
Size board you represent?
So they had to review the laws and everything because they didn't want her out. But it looks like they can't do that, so.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes, may it please the court, I'm
Sure.
Amanda Sizemore on behalf of the defense. The defense set a motion to set bond for Ms. Lorincz. I'd like to take some testimony from her.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if we remain seated?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, please raise your right hand.
Oh, I guess she got to remain seated because, she's so sick with the knees, the heart, the head, the arms, everything.
Swear affirm the information you shall give us the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Can you please state your name and spell your last name for us?
Susan Lorincz, L-O-R-I-N-C as in cat, Z as in zebra.
And how long have you lived in Marion County?
About 15 years.
Do you have any friends or family here?
Yes.
Who?
Sister and friends.
Do you have any assets?
Not really.
Okay, do you own any homes?
No.
Do you own a vehicle?
I do, but it's got a loan on it.
Okay, how much do you owe on the vehicle?
$22,000.
Do you have any other assets at all?
Some furniture.
Okay, how much do you think that's worth?
$3,000.
Will you be able to find lodging here in Ocala if you were released?
Probably.
Do you have a passport?
No.
Do you promise to come to all of your future court dates?
Yes.
How much money do you think you can afford to post bond?
$1,700.
$1,700? Is that a yes?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
This heifer says she can post $1,700 bond. Not $17,000, $1,700.
Briefly, Your Honor. Ma'am, you were born, I believe, in 1964,
Yes.
making you 58 years old now.
Yes.
You're not currently married, are you?
No.
Do you have any children?
No.
You mentioned, I believe, a relative, a sister.
Yes.
What city and state does she live in?
Ocala, Florida.
And how long has she lived here?
About 15 years.
Are your parents still living?
No.
You're not currently employed, correct?
That is correct.
Do you own any real property at all?
No.
Am I correct that you were renting the apartment that you were living in?
Objection, Judge. I would instruct her not to answer.
Why?
I'm sorry?
question of renting?
Yes, sir, whether or not she owned the property or was renting it.
So
You can answer.
Okay.
You were renting that property,
Yes.
am I right?
That's just odd. Why wouldn't the attorney want her to answer that?
And are you aware that your landlord told detectives that he was evicting you from that property?
No, I was not aware.
You don't
Okay.
own any business, correct?
That is correct.
And you don't have any financial interest or in any business ventures here in Marion County, right?
No, not.
Thank you, ma'am. No other questions?
Ms. Lattimore, any additional witnesses?
No, sir.
Kayla K, I'm gonna be answering your question in a minute.
Mr. Buck, anything you want to?
The state does not have any additional witnesses pursuant to the statute. The victims do have a right, I believe, to address the court. In this case, the victims are represented by Mr. Thomas. With the court's permission, he has requested to be the person who speaks on behalf of the victim's family to the court. I indicated that will be up to you.
If he wants to speak, come to the podium.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Anthony Thomas. I represent the family of Ajika Owens. Your Honor, the family has asked that I speak this morning to ask for a bond commensurate with the act. Certainly, the amount of bond for the charges are at a number on the schedule that the family does not feel is enough.
Hey, Mary Willis.
Your Honor, the state, in this case, I believe the bond schedule for all the charges would be about $35,000. The $30,000 is obviously the driving force, which is the manslaughter. That bond schedule does not account for the use of a firearm. In this case, that use of the firearm enhances the crime up to a first-degree felony, punishable up to 30 years in prison. Obviously, here in Florida, we treat cases involving firearms very differently and more harshly. The defendant is facing a charge which potentially could result in her spending most of, or if not the rest of her life in prison. She does not have a job, she does not have any real property, she doesn't have a spouse or children who, except for a sister who would be considered a tie to this community. She's lived here a long time, but she doesn't have any type of financial interest, no business.
I guess this is the sister who's a brutal diabetic, I guess. You know, who's an amputee and all of the things that she tried to tell the police yesterday.
Business ventures, nothing like that. Based on all of that information.
How are you getting evicted and you don't know? Or maybe after this happened, he said, that's it, I'm sick of her, she got to go. Or maybe they don't allow, well, she wasn't convicted, so you can't do that. But anyway.
The state's requesting a $200,000 bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Judge, given Ms. Lorinc's testimony and the amount of money that she can afford to pose, the defense is asking for the court to set a bond as to count 1, $15,000, as to counts 2, $500, counts 3 and 4, $250, and counts 5, a $500 bond.
Wow.
She's testified that she has no passport, she has ties to the community, she's lived here for over 15 years, she has no criminal record. I think if the court were to set a bond in the amount the state is requesting, that would essentially be tantamount to no bond for her. So we're asking the court for those amounts.
Here we go, tantamount to no bond.
There's no information filed, correct?
No, sir.
All I have is a arrest report, and I have it down as count 1 is the listed here as homicide, but I guess manslaughter. So manslaughter with a firearm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first degree felony, culpable negligence, it's count 2. I'm just writing these things down so I know what I'm doing. And that is misdemeanor.
Yes, sir.
Another an assault, is that 3?
Yes, sir.
Another assault, that's 4. Battery.
Assault, battery, assault, battery, assault, assault, assault.
Misdemeanors, is that?
Yes, sir.
So there's 5 offenses listed?
Yes, sir.
It's funny how attorneys say this bond, what the state is asking, is equivalent to no bond. Well, that's not anybody's fault, okay? It's not anybody's fault.
Anything else?
Whatever bond this court decides to impose, the state would ask for additional conditions, including no contact with the victim's children. They're minors. I'm not going to announce their names at this point. The defendant have no possession of any weapons or firearms. That she not return. Not return to the victim's residence or anywhere near the victim's residence. I understand that she lives across the street currently, unless and until she is no longer allowed to live there. And I also asked for an ankle monitor.
All right. What I'm going to do is honestly the same thing I do every case for the last almost 17 years now. For the most part, the bond schedule is for first appearances when no one has a lot of extra information. You're just trying to take an arrest, probable cause affidavit. You don't have any full bond hearing. So I'm not going to set my bond in accordance with the bond schedule because I usually view that as something only for first appearances. What I weigh in every case is, what the past record is. And here she doesn't have any past record, and that weighs in her favor. But I also have to weigh flight risk and protection of the community.
Okay, this judge is boring me, and it's only a few more minutes. So let me tell you what happened. Susan Lorincz did not get out on bond, although the judge initially set her bond at $154,000 in June of 2023. She remained in custody because she was unable to afford the payment, stating she only had about $1,700 available at the time. That's all she had. Let me see. Following her conviction for the manslaughter in August of 2024, her bond was officially revoked, and she is currently serving 25 years in prison at the Homestead Correctional Institute in Florida. Her release date is scheduled for April the 8th of 2048. Like I said, this lady is 60 years old. So I just don't see her making it out of jail, like, period. So let's go to the next thing, which I can't remember what it is. Let me see.
The woman
Okay, let me see how much time we got. Okay, we are good. We're going to do this, and this will be the last thing that we do. This is, hey, Reef and Muff's mom. This here is going to be her interview.
arrested, charged, and convicted in the shooting death of Ajika Owens in Ocala in 2023, describes the moments leading up to her pulling the trigger.
She's pounding and she's pounding and she's pounding, and I just, I was terrified.
Susan Lorincz, in her own words.
If anything could have possibly gone wrong, it went wrong.
From the public outcry calling for her arrest.
So unfair. So unfair. This is not fair.
I've made such a huge mistake. That's all I kept thinking is, oh my God.
To the reason she did not take the stand in her own defense.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm just...
But you did.
So, it just makes me sick what happened. I just never ever thought in a million years this would happen. And it breaks my heart.
From the South Florida prison, where she is serving a 25-year sentence for manslaughter, the Susan Lorincz interview right now on TV 20.
Now look how much she has aged. This is a recent interview. Look how much she has aged, and look at the weight she's lost. I love that for her. I do, I do, I do.
She says she's sorry, but that does not change the outcome for Susan Lorincz, the woman she killed, Ajika Owens, a mother of 4.
Lawrence filed an appeal to her 25-year sentence, and we'll have more on that later. A dispute over Owens'
Say Jay, email me or hit me up on Instagram.
children playing too close and too loud to Lawrence's home led Lawrence to shooting Owens through her front door. Lawrence was found guilty of manslaughter and was sentenced last November. She's serving her time at the Homestead Correctional Institution in South Florida.
And that's where TV20's Robert Bradfield sat down with her to talk about her conviction, her apology to Ajika and her family, and what she would have told the jury if she had taken the stand in her defense.
TV20 did reach out to Ajika's family about this interview, but they declined to comment.
Here's TV20's Robert Bradfield one-on-one with Susan Lorincz.
I was given 1 hour to interview Susan. None of my questions were given to her in advance. Over this next half hour, you will hear directly from her about why she shot Ajika, the letter she's written to Ajika's children, and what she considers missteps in the investigation. I first want to start here. You were convicted of manslaughter.
Yes.
Sentenced to 25 years.
Yes.
You are 61 now.
Yes.
You might be in your mid-80s before you leave here, or you might not leave here at all. How have you reconciled that?
Day by day, and going to a lot of services, leaning on God, getting into the Word.
Talk to me about that. You attended a church in Ocala, is that right?
Yes.
And you also sang in the choir?
Yes.
So as someone of faith, how did you end up here?
A very unfortunate series of events.
Take me back to June of 2023. What do you know specifically of that day?
I remember the kids screaming and yelling. I had a migraine headache. I was in my bedroom, shut everything down, closed curtains.
She had a migraine headache. During the police interview, part 1, she just had a headache. Now it's a migraine that she had. Reef and Muff's mom, you said she looked raggedy and dingy. Analytical one said, why is she suing the kids? Is she sorry for what happened? Well, see, what happened is the family is suing her. So she countersued. And one of the things in her countersuit is defamation of character. They defamed her character. Okay. Them folks says she had a church home and not one church member came forward in her situation. Not a one.
Curtains, everything was dark. And when they finally left, I had to pack up a computer for my work to ship back to the home office. So I wanted to do that, and I didn't realize the children were still outside. There were the 3 boys, and they were very close to my sidewalk, and they had their skates around and stuff. I had fallen over a skate, and I said, guys, pick up your skates, and they were like, no. And I said, kids, pick up your skates and please leave. You're trespassing. You know you're trespassing. And the kid said, I'm going to kill you. If I can't kill you, I'm going to find someone to kill you. I had called the sheriff's department as soon as he threatened me. And I said, this is insane. This little kid is threatening me. And, you know, just the way he said it made me so uncomfortable. There had been a multitude of threats. Prior to that, the children said they would set me on fire. And they took one of the no trespassing signs, set it on fire, and then put it on my porch, and they said, you're next. So when he said this, I'm like, oh my God, you know, it takes a second. Squirt somebody with some lighter fluid, and they left the lighter fluid with the burnt sign. And I'm thinking, they're gonna set me on fire. So I went back into the house, and I called. The first phone call dropped, and I had to call him back again. And so I told them what had transpired it was a really horrible connection, and they just said, wait. So I locked the bottom lock and I waited. Next thing I know, I had to go to the bathroom, so I quick went to the bathroom. I had put my phone down where I left the computer, and I forgot where I put the phone. Banging on the door, banging on the door. I thought, oh my goodness, the cops are here so quick. They must have been in the area. And I said, 1 minute. As soon as I said 1 minute, she went on a tirade.
I thought it was, it was 20 minutes. Now it's, oh, the cops got here quick, and it was her. Miss Principal said convicted and still lying. Isn't that something? Girl, you there. You might as well tell the truth now.
Expletives and just horrible language, screaming at me, pounding on the door so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, you need to leave, you're trespassing. You were told not to come here by the sheriff's department. You know you're trespassing, you need to leave. And then she said, I'm gonna effing kill you. And I went, oh my God. And she's pounding and she's pounding and she's pounding. And I just, I was terrified.
There was a lot made during trial and even when detectives were interviewing you about the loudness of the pounding, and you had said multiple times, I'm fearful of my life. You still contend that?
Oh God, yes. It just made me so, it gave me a panic attack actually. She was pounding so hard. She had previously done this and had broken my door frame in December of 2022. So I was like, she broke the door frame once.
Now, she did tell this lie in an interview that she broke that frame once. And she was just petrified. But I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, y'all.
She's going to end up coming through the store.
You then made, though, the conscious decision to go into your bedroom and grab...
Oh,
Mom,
I know what I was going to say.
I know.
Oh, shoot. So she has a panic attack because this banging on the door. I don't know if any of you have ever had one, but like you can't have a panic attack and shoot at the same time. I'm just saying. I'm just going by my experience. It's just not possible.
Done this and had broken my door frame in December of 2022. So I was like, she broke the door frame once. She's going to end up coming through the store.
You then made, though, the conscious decision to go into your bedroom and grab the gun from your trash can?
Yes.
And you said you couldn't find your cell phone?
Exactly.
So take me back behind the decision then of you going into your bedroom, taking the gun out of the trash can, possibly knowing that you could use it, and you did. You shot once.
Yes, once. I was aiming for the top left corner of the door, and she pounded so hard that I could hear the frame crack, and it did. It splintered the frame. And when she did that, I went like this, and I pulled the trigger. Because even in my questioning and the police report, I said, I don't remember firing the gun.
Coming up, Susan Lorincz addresses what she considers misstep.
This is the first time I'm hearing that she doesn't remember firing. She clearly remembered firing. Now all of a sudden she doesn't remember firing. I don't understand why she's in jail. She's been sentenced. Why the lies? Aunt Natty said, I've had a panic attack. You can barely breathe. Exactly. Kayla Kay says she was so scared of the lady. Why would she say, go get your mom? Because she knew what she was about to do.
In the investigation and the proof she says she has that Ajika Owens' children lied about what happened.
She had proof, and her attorney
Susan
didn't
Lorincz
use it.
says she was within weeks of moving to a new property when she shot and killed Ajika Owens in the summer of 2023. She talks about that in this portion of the interview, and she answers my question: is Susan Lorincz a racist?
I just know the gun went off, and I heard it. She said, ow. And I thought, oh crap, I hit her. And I thought, how in God's green earth did I, aim for that left corner, and I hit her. I couldn't figure.
She aimed for the left corner. Remember, during her interview, she said she just took the gun and just shot through the door. She didn't aim for nothing. She just shot. Them folks said, but I thought she didn't know she was being evicted. Right, but she had another place to go to. She was shocked, right? She was being evicted. CJ says, y'all know the Orange Menace is going to pardon her. That had happened. Where is the report from the fire department about the sign? Snoopalicious says they interviewed everyone in the neighborhood, so they are like the whole neighborhood's lying, right? Mary Willis says, you having a panic attack. What you aiming? While you aiming? Right, exactly. Southside Chi-Town says she's lying because she's going to appeal. Well, that's stupid because what she's saying now is not matching up what she said during the interviews. Now she's got something else different to say. Wait a minute. JMM said that Say J Orange can only do federal crimes, right? Not state. Well, uh since this is a felony, right, you're right though. Right. He can only do federal right, you're right.
Things out.
Was the upper left corner more of a warning shot?
Yes, absolutely.
So you did not intend to shoot her and hit her?
No, never.
Well, I believe you also testified or told detectives you did not go outside at that moment, but you called 911 again.
Yes.
And you said what?
I told them that I had hit her. I said she was pounding on my door, she was threatening to kill me, and I shot her. And I knew I shot her because she said, ow. And I thought I grazed her somehow. And I couldn't imagine where that shot went. I never even saw the shot. I mean, I was just so terrified. I remember I was shaking, I was crying, it was horrible.
Is Susan Lorincz capable of manslaughter?
No. And I'm so, it just makes me sick what happened. I just never ever thought in a million years this would happen. And it breaks my heart. I mean, I don't know, I can't take it back. I can't replace her. I can't say, I did an apology to the family, and I'm still so sorry. And I know her kids are without a mom, and I know that it's been hard on.
Have a good dinner, Leah lady. CJ said there was the police report from the door frame being broken. I called the police when a BB had been shot at my patio door. I didn't play.
Her mom, I know everybody's hurting. I wish I could change things.
No,
Some
you
people have
don't.
also asked, why not wait for the cops to arrive instead of shooting her?
Because when I called, when the kids said they would set me on fire, the Marion County Sheriff's Department never showed up. I ended up having to go there, show them the sign, show them the lighter fluid days later when I finally had a break in work. So
Days later, not an hour later, not half a day later, but days later, where they were going to burn her house down. She showed them the lighter fluid and everything. If I was being tortured like this by these little kids who are no older than 12, I think I'd have moved. But this is the first time I'm hearing about this lighter incident. She never this lighter fluid and stuff. She didn't mention that in her interview.
I thought they can come, they cannot come.
There might be people, though, that have noisy neighbors. You live on the bottom floor. You might hear the people above you. You might hear kids running down the hall as well. But is that enough to grab a gun from a bedroom?
No, that's not why I grabbed my gun. When she said, I'm going to kill you, I firmly believed she was going to kill me. That's why I grabbed the gun, because she had shouted that at me.
Did you ever consider leaving that neighborhood?
I had sold a horse, got a mortgage, and I was in the process of buying a small place. I wanted out. I didn't want to be there anymore.
In court, she was destitute. All she had is $1,700 to her name. She was unemployed. All of these things. So now you mean to tell me she had sold a horse and she was able to put money down to buy a home? Okay.
And it would have closed within a couple weeks.
Why should we listen to you now?
Because I have proof that the children lied. And again, when you're dealing with young children, you know that they're going to make mistakes. He told his mother I hit him. So I understand when she first came to that door and she was raging, I did not know what happened. I mean, to me, I thought she was having a psychotic break, or she was high on something, or she was just, I just thought, oh my God, what is going on here?
Oh, now AJ had to be high on something. Okay. Bible A said, Legacy Moon days later because the police department closes by the time she gets off work. I'm wondering when this job ended that she had. So you mean to tell me that these kids see now? I don't like the fact that now, oh, I didn't know if she was high or something, slandering this lady's name. I don't like that at all. But she is sitting there acting like her story now. Where is the proof? This proof that she has, you mean to tell me she couldn't get it to her attorney during her trial for it to be used? Now all of a sudden we have proof that the kids lied when they testified. Okay.
When I found out he lied to his mom, I'm thinking, she came home from work, she was tired, all she wanted to do was put her feet up, and he tells her, I hit him. When the prosecutor asked the child, where were you hit? He said, oh, she never hit me. That's in his testimony. And the prosecutor knew he dropped the charges for assault battery. Then the children lied about their location. He said he was right next to his mother when she was shot. He was 60 feet away at the mailboxes.
Do you think that there were any missteps in the investigation?
How does she know he was 60 feet away? She didn't see him. She didn't see him. And she didn't open the door after she shot. Now, unless this was in the police reports or it came out during trial, I don't know. But how does she know? The Duchess says in her prior interview, she said she did not say that the boy threatened her to kill her.
Oh, yes, many. I think once those children had said that it was a racial matter, they're like, oh my God, she's a racist. And that's just not true.
Listen, it is.
I was married to a Middle Eastern man who was Muslim.
Listen to this now. Listen to what she's about to say to prove, hey, Cece, to prove that she's not racist. Listen now.
Muslim. My nephew is part black. I've had black friends since I was 5 years old. I grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, very, very diverse, demographic. And I have black friends here in jail, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not true. It's emphatically not true.
Susan Lorincz.
When you have to prove you're black by mentioning you were married to a Muslim man, you have a nephew that's half black, you've got black friends in jail, in prison. People who are truly not racist, they don't say that. They just say they don't have to give you a resume of why they're not racist. I always find when people give you a resume, or some of my best friends are black, or I have a lot of black friends, that's telling me that there is some type of prejudice there. And on top of that, just because you married a Muslim Middle Eastern guy, and just because you have a nephew that's half black, does not mean that you, for one, never called him a nigger before. Number one, and number two, that doesn't mean you're not, none of those things make you not racist. You can marry, I've seen white women be married to black men and vice versa who are racist. So that does not, to me, your resume ain't enough for me. Okay, it's just not. Yeah, Kayla K, she got black friends in jail. She probably need them black folks in jail.
Is not a racist.
No, sir. Not at all.
Still ahead, we ask Susan Lorincz about her decision not to take the stand in her defense, and if race played a part in her decision to fire her gun.
Okay, y'all, this is the door. Look at this door. So y'all right, there is no peephole, but she still could have gone right over here to this glass door to look and see if this lady who she was afraid was going to unalive her had any type of weapons. She could clearly see, okay, no peephole, okay, but you have the sliding glass door that seems to be right next to the door. So you should have been able to look, you had a perfect view of being able to see this lady, her behavior, her mannerisms, and her intent, no matter what you were hearing through the door.
Susan Lorincz says on advice from her attorney, she should not take the stand. She says she regrets that decision, and she explains what she would have told the jury.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's such a lose-lose situation. No one's won, it's just, like I said, it was a horrible.
Yes, very Cherry. She could have looked through that Ring camera.
A horrific series of events, and just like if anything could have possibly gone wrong, it went wrong.
If you had an opportunity to go back and you were reliving this moment in real time again, what would you do differently?
I was supposed to go out earlier in the evening, and I said, no, I really don't feel well. I would have left. It's tearing me apart. You know, I killed someone. You know, at the end of the day, she's not here anymore. Her kids don't get her. She missed all the events in their lives, you know, weddings, graduations, all that other stuff, and her kids are going to miss her.
Do you think there might be a time where you might want to sit down and write to them?
I have written to them. I've taken a restorative justice class, so we've been working on our letters.
Have you sent it to them?
I don't know if I can, so I would have to get information if I can send them.
Talk to me now also about the trial. Were you satisfied with your defense?
Oh, you were able to write an apology letter after you took this class. Miss Principal says she's just repeating what the police said. Good point, Miss Principal.
Team?
No.
Why?
My attorney said, I strongly recommend you do not testify. And had I testified, I could have told them when she broke the doors. And that was the one thing that the jury got hung up on. And I had 2 other witnesses who would have corroborated, you know, we knew the door was broke. And they were never called.
So somebody, I think it was Kayla Kay maybe, who wanted to know, where's the police report? Where are the charges? All of the things for her breaking the door. I don't even think it's documented anywhere. And it would also seem to me, okay, a broken door that has to be fixed by the landlord, that's a cost that somebody has to pay. So if she broke your door, where's the small claims court where you're suing her for the repair of your door? Where are all these things at? Salt and Pepper Tresses said, bitch, leave those kids alone. They don't need your letter.
And the door being broken, you contend what? That she could have easily gotten in?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because the actual frame of the door was not solid.
You regret not taking the stand?
Yes.
Which then could have opened you up to cross-examination, but at the same time, you would have been able to tell your side of the story.
Exactly.
Have you had a discussion with the defense attorney regarding that decision?
It was very brief and terse.
Terse, what'd you say?
I told her it was reprehensible that she gave me the warning.
Was there a time during trial that you thought that you might be found guilty or not guilty?
I honestly did not know what was going to transpire.
I think it was at sentencing, after you had sat down, you had put your hands on the table and put your hands in your face. What were you thinking in that moment?
I've made such a huge mistake. That's all I kept thinking is, oh my God.
You also at sentencing talked about your past, including surgeries, and if we can maybe discuss this about sexually being abused. Do you think that played a part in who you are now?
Yes. The fear factor. She acted like my father, and it just triggered that. I felt like a child who was going to get beat, and my father was very brutal. I mean, he put me in the hospital, you know, and it wasn't fun. And when the prosecution said, oh, you could have locked the door, my father kicked in more doors than I can count. And if we were under the bed, he would flip the beds over and grab us. So to me, there was no safe place.
Our viewers may be watching this saying, why are you giving her an opportunity to speak? And again, for that, you would say what?
Because I want the truth to come out. I just want people to know the truth, that I am not a racist, that I did not do this on purpose. This was not, you know, a premeditated thing. I had no animosity for this woman.
You say no animosity, but police had been called to your place numerous times before. We have the body camera video too. There's got to be some animosity.
I try not to hold it against a person. You know, I've made my fair share of mistakes, and I wouldn't want somebody to retain anger against me. You know, like I said, we all have bad days. Just get over it and move on, because if you hold on to that, your life's going to be miserable.
But some say you did.
I've had bad days. I never run alive to anybody. You had a bad day. You had a bad day and you unalive somebody, so somebody's gone. Somebody's mother is gone. Somebody's mother was unalived in front of them, and you feel like everybody has a bad day. Okay. Them folks said, girl, you unalived her, but you don't want to hold it against her? Go away. Rossi said lies and excuses. Tanya B here said lies, just lies.
Did not move on because you grabbed the gun. You had situations with her children before. Was this a lapse of judgment in your part by taking the gun?
I, honest to God, thought she was going to kill me. And it was fear.
That's
It was fear.
wrong,
I
man.
feared for my own safety.
Do you think this case also revolved around race? And what do you say to those who say this was a white woman who shot a black woman?
I'm so very sorry. That's how it happened. I'm white, she's black. You cannot pick how you are born. It is what it is. But it was not because she was a black woman. It's because she said, I'm going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next, the status of Susan Lorinc's appeal as Ajika Owens' family focuses on a nonprofit to help families impacted by gun violence.
We're wrapping up Robert's Susan Lorincz interview, and we're joined by Robert now. Robert, you reached out to Ajika's family as well as the state attorney's office. What kind of response had they given you about this interview?
Well, I can tell you the state attorney's office did send us a statement, and they told us specifically they did not call the children as witnesses during this trial. They also did not introduce any of the children's deposition testimony as evidence, and that was something also that Susan said she found that they lied on their depositions as well. She takes issue with that. We also reached out to the public defender during Susan Lorinc's trial. She says she has no comment. And again, Ajika's family also told us they did not want to respond to this interview. But we did hear from her mother after Susan's sentencing. That was November of last year, telling us the apology Susan gave during that sentencing was not sincere.
Susan's apology was a last-ditch attempt to save herself. It wasn't sincere. She never.
Yes, Aunt Natty, she lied about that because the way she stated it had me to believe that the child testified.
Showed remorse.
Robert, Ajika's family did start a nonprofit to help families cope with losing a loved one to gun violence. Do you have any updates at all on that nonprofit?
Yeah, we did speak with Pamela Dias. That was back in June when she announced this nonprofit as well. Again, she created what's called Standing in the Gap Fund. The goal there is to raise $3.5 million for families impacted by gun violence over the next 5 years. She also explained specifically how she can also be a support system for those families.
It's healing. It relieves some of the stress, of the burden I carry in my heart, knowing that I can be a support system to someone in need because I know firsthand how it feels. And to know that I am doing something, it's never going to take away the pain or the grief, but it's going to support families where they have one less thing to worry about.
We also want to let you know Susan did file an appeal, but the public defender assigned to her case asked to be removed. So the judge says, Susan, you're going to have to go this alone right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's wow. Okay, I'm shocked. You're gonna have to go it alone. I didn't know you were allowed to do that, but okay. Justin's mom says that's blonde. That's blonde man that was laughing at the pig's crisp bacon. A disabled pig. He couldn't stop laughing. What you talking about? The Duchess says if the children were so terrible, she wouldn't have been the only neighbor complaining about them. Yes, because all of the neighbors. Oh, okay, it was a blooper, Justin's mom. Yeah, all of the neighbors were complaining about her. Like all of them. So she was the common denominator. She was the menace in that neighborhood. But I just want to know how she was getting ready to close on a house, just like right before this happened, but she gets in court and she's destitute. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. I'm very much so in confusement. But y'all, we did it. We got through everything that I wanted to get through today. So I'm not sure about tomorrow. I might make it on tomorrow afternoon. And if I do, we will get into the phone calls. That's what we are going to do tomorrow if um, you know, I'm able to. Oh, stop. This thing be having a mind of its own. Okay. Come out of that. All right, it won't do it. Okay. Let me just Okay, there we go. Now I can get it off. All right, but anyway, so that's what if I don't get to it tomorrow, I will do it on Wednesday. But I am gonna try to come on tomorrow, like around this time, so we can do the phone call. I only need to do the phone call and then I'll get into first I'll get into the lawsuit. That either what AJ's family is suing for and then her countersuit and that foolishness. I'm also going to put some documents on the wall, just like I think the not the arrest report, but the warrant, I think, or something. I can't remember what I have, but I have something. Bible lady said that public fender said, get somebody else to do it. So the judge said, you got to go it alone. I've never heard of that before, but okay, all right. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to like this video. If you are not subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, like this video, hype this video, um, share this video to a friend, a foe, or anybody you know, okay? Let them know Legacy Moon is covering this case and others. There will be others coming up. I don't want to jinx anything, so I will tell y'all about it when I get what I need, okay? But anyhow, y'all have a good evening, and go on over there to join Native Tribe Urban Media at 8 o'clock, where he will be doing it on Monday, just like Sonya does everything, okay? But I appreciate y'all sitting through, especially that interrogation. I know that was hard, but I just feel like before we get into the phone calls, I wanted to get into some groundwork, some background, and also shine the light on AJ and her children. So that's all I have for y'all. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for the super chats, the gifted memberships. Welcome new members. And y'all have a good one. Shout out to the Marvelous Moonlight Mods. And I will see y'all on the next one.
Oh.